Hello everybody, and welcome to the pilot episode of the SpaceBar. I am Million Lights, and with me is Akinesis Gaming.
Hello.
And PlexiStan.
Hey there.
We are in space right now, near Earth, and we'll dock with the SpaceBar shortly. That's probably the best place to talk about nerdy stuff and have a drink or two. This podcast won't be family friendly all the time. We are not going to swear like a sailor, but we are going to talk about mature topics. So viewers' discretion is advised, I guess, a little bit. Okay, after all that, let's finally dock to the SpaceBar and find our VIP room. There it is. And we got a pretty decent table with only 3 chairs. I got a feeling there will be another chair shortly. So I'm gonna get the window seat. Screw you.
As long as I can have a drink, I'm fine.
Yeah. What is your favorite drink for today?
A beer. I'll say it was
Yeah.
beer.
You're so
beer.
boring. Yeah, you're gonna really? You're gonna drink beer?
Alright, fine, I'll get some wine then.
Well, this is going to set the trend for the rest of the existence of this podcast. So if I start off with a nice fancy pink cocktail, it's not going to stand any good stead for the rest of the... So let's start with a beer, and then I'll progress from there. Safety beer.
Okay, here's a confession. I'm the German guy in this podcast. You can probably hear that, but I don't like beer. Sorry.
German beer is not the best one. I'm going to get a lot of enemies for that one.
Too many unsubs already.
Well, there is one beer I really like, and it's not a German beer. It's a Mexican
Belgian one.
It's Mexican.
Mexican, really?
It's Desperados.
Nope.
Or something like that.
Corona.
It's not very
Mexican.
Mexican, I think. It's supposed to sound Mexican, but it's just a brand.
It really is just a brand. But Corona really is from Mexico.
What do you do on
really? I didn't know.
Oktoberfest?
I hate it.
Just sit there and watch everyone else drink beer.
I
Well, you sold
avoid it
because you
by
can't
any
have your-
means, just like techno music. It's, God, no.
Now you're just showing your age. I think you wouldn't call it techno music anymore.
It's just not.
Million Lights has clearly fallen out of the 80s, hasn't he?
Yeah. I'm a 90s kid.
Well, there was a lot of techno in the 90s too.
90s
Yeah.
was the best music.
Because you grew up at that time, so.
No, it was the best.
We will come to the music section later. Okay, so Plexi, you're going with a wine.
Some red wine, some Bordeaux.
Okay, Aki is
nice.
going to have a beer. And
Grr.
I'm going to go with a Long Island iced tea, I guess. Yeah.
Someone has to be reasonable.
You're banned from the window seat.
Why?
You can't hold privileges while you're drinking a Long Island iced tea.
I don't know. Is it non-alcoholic for you? In Germany, it's a pretty heavy cocktail.
Yeah, no, it's alcoholic. It's alcoholic.
Yeah.
It's just I've never seen a bloke order it, that's all.
My second choice would be, well, I don't think you know that. It's called a zombie with 5 different variations of rum. It's basically the golden hammer with the lemon. You get half a liter of that, 1 glass, and you're done for the night.
Yeah.
Cheap night.
Hence the name.
Yeah.
We used to do something similar when I was young. I don't remember how we called it. I think it was something like the cemetery or something. The idea was to get all the alcohol we had and everything that was drinkable, really, and put everything in one cup and try to drink it.
I did that once after a party. It was the next day after a party. And
So maybe you didn't want to remember the party.
yeah, it was late evening, and I thought, well, we got all that stuff, so let's just throw it all together. I took half a liter glass, poured it in, drank it in one go, and 20 minutes later, I signed off, went to the bathroom, threw up, went to bed, and I was done. That was
Best night ever.
in a time span of 30 minutes. I completely wrecked myself with one glass. It was
You wake up the next morning with sickle down your front, you've shit yourself, and you got your face in a kebab.
Remember, it was after the party, right? I don't want to know what the party was like.
He doesn't remember. He doesn't remember. People are only just turning up when that happened.
Well, I'm German. I like to drink efficient. So 30 minutes is pretty good.
I don't think that defines efficient very well. I suppose it depends what your end goal is, but...
Yeah.
Oh my God. So what have you been up to this week?
Well, personally, I've been streaming. That's all I've done, really. Having fun playing KSP and a few different games. But I plan to do some role-playing games tomorrow. I'm very excited about that.
Whoa, what are you going to play?
It's a game that, I mean, it was inspired by the rules of video games, I think. I don't remember which one. It's a friend of mine that made it. And it's kind of like, medieval fantasy-ish. There's not too much, there's no elves, stuff like that. It's more like dark fantasy.
You've never streamed anything roleplay related yet, did you?
No, but I plan to, but it's, it's hard to, because it involves, many people. Usually when you stream, it's on your own. So it's easy to set it up. But here I need someone to do the DM, the dungeon master, and then some players. And if we want to stream it, we also need, some visual support. So we can use websites like, there's a website called Roll20, but then you have to do the visuals and stuff. So, but I'm working on it, and we plan to do some Shadowrun, if you know it.
Sorry, I'm not the RPG guy.
Shadowrun, the idea is to use the idea of, medieval fantasy, but put it in in a very dystopian future. A near future, it's supposed to be like 60 years from now. But the idea is that the magic came back to the world, so it's our world, right? They're the same countries and stuff. And the magic came back, and then suddenly people started transforming into elves, orc, and stuff like that.
I actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's video games too. Yeah, there's a few video games that it's very XCOM-like for the fights. Then the other part is very RPG-like.
Could that be that there is a TV series?
I don't think so.
Because my cousin came to me and asked me, hey, do you know about this? And I don't even know the name, but he said, yeah, so the world population basically died, and after a new evolution attempt of...
No, it's not exactly the same pitch.
Okay.
Here, the population died at some point, like there's 1/4 of the population that died. It was because of the disease that came back because of the magic, apparently. We don't really know much about it. But the reason why there's orcs and elves and dwarves and stuff like that is because the magic came back to the world. It's not because of new evolution stuff. The idea is that our world right now is in the 5th age, and the 5th age is the age where magic was at its lowest. So like orcs and elves were existing, but they looked like human, basically. And then when the magic came back, people started transforming again. So that's the idea. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like dystopian setups for role-playing games. If everything goes well, it's a bit hard to to give the players some adventures and stuff like that. As for here, you go in the streets and you can get attacked by gangs of people on drugs and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I don't know yet when we're going to do it, but yeah, I plan to do it. I also plan to do some tabletop things, maybe on stream. We'll see.
Now you have to plug yourself. You know that, right?
What?
You can't just rant on your streaming channel without mentioning it.
Yeah, so PlexiStan on Twitch. Play a lot of KSP. I started playing a lot of Minecraft too, and some XCOM too. So yeah, there you go. I stream every day. Almost. Not every day. Yeah, I'm actually doing a 1-year challenge where I need to stream at least 2 hours every day for a year. And I've been doing it it's been 110 days today.
That's an achievement already.
Yeah.
That's commitment.
Yeah, and Akinesis Gaming is so happy right now that he never did that challenge, because after this year you just had, oh my God.
My track record isn't very good, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
Of consistent streaming, yeah. Mr. Unreliable.
Yeah, it was a pretty busy week for you, Aki, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've been working nights. So that kind of stops that story right there. No, because I've just moved house again and everything's set up now. But I had problems reconnecting the internet. As it turns out, the internet was always connected. It's just that it's going to sound really stupid, but the cable was in the wrong wall socket. We went from, I'm in Australia, so we went from the National Broadband Network, NBN. We went from NBN to Velocity, which is the fiber optics. Now, when you get your router come through for the fiber optics, you open the box, you get a set of instructions fall out on how to connect everything up. And it's through the normal telephone socket. You have the filter on, and then you connect the filter to the router, and then you should have internet. Well, that didn't work. So we thought, okay, we'll leave it a couple of days then, because just let them connect it. Never got connected. Phoned them up. They said, yeah, you need to do this, this, and this. We've done all that. It's not working. Oh, that's really unusual. Let me put you on hold and transfer you to Velocity. 3.5 hours later, I had to give up waiting on hold. So I was a little bit peeved about that. But the next day, I eventually got through, explained the problem, and then they just replied and said, no, you need to connect it through the Ethernet plug in your wall, not the phone line socket. And we did that, connected it through the Ethernet socket instead, and boom, internet. Yeah, as it turned out, we always had internet. But for those listening, never follow the instructions that have been given to you by the manufacturer of the product you're trying to install, because it'll probably be wrong. In this case, it was. Just do the opposite to what they say, and then things will work. So I've not had internet for the best part of 2 weeks now, and it got reconnected on Thursday.
How did you survive that?
Lots of beer and wine. That was pretty much it. The Australians and their phone networks are really stingy on how much data they give you. So I couldn't watch YouTube videos or anything without paying a fortune. Really? Yeah, or Twitch streams. So I just sort of sat on Twitter, did some gardening, went shopping, and just drank.
Yeah, after all that, you need a drink, I guess.
After
seeing so much of the world, it's too much to take in.
I know these lakes outside where there's people. It's horrible. Don't ever go out there. Just stay inside your home. So yeah, the connection's really good now. So I've got 95 down and 6 up. I'll never use that. Well, I will, but you know what I mean. It's more than I'll ever need.
I think it's kind of weird, like having 100 down and 5 up. You could use more than 5 up, or need more than 5 up, but you never get to 100 down. You will never ever be able to completely use up.
We arrive at the point where the downloads, the servers are not, going fast enough for your connection. Sometimes it's not very often that you can use the full potential of your connection.
Exactly.
And for now, it's just a commercial, pitch basically. Yeah, you're gonna have 500 down. It's more than the other company, but you never need that much.
If you want to download a program from another website, it's only going to be as fast as that website can chuck it out to you.
You're limited by the servers you're downloading on.
But on the other hand, if you're trying to upload something, that can't be fast enough. So right now I have 50 down, but 10 up. And if I upload a video, that's going to be fast. And that's what I need. That's what I'm looking for. I need the upload.
Yeah, personally, I would be fine having less download than upload. I want to upload personally, just for streaming, for example. But yeah, I don't see why there's such a. I mean, I know why, because they don't want to pay for it. It's kind of silly that they give you 100 down and only 5 up. Like, just give me 50 down and 20 up. I will be happy with that.
Actually, moving into this house, I cared about the upload speed only. Yeah. This had to have a good upload. The download speed, whatever. I care about it.
Yeah, because nowadays it's not like we're back on 56k modem, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, I had in my last when I lived in the UK, I had 12 down, and we could still stream. My wife could still watch bloody Neighbours on her iPad, and I could still watch YouTube videos, and there'd be no buffering. Do you know what I mean? So even with that, so 100 down, we're never going to use them. It's nice that if
at some point, if 4K comes into everyone's home, then yeah, we're going to need better connections. But until then, whatever.
It's nice, but I want the upload, and we had good upload, so I'm good.
Yeah, 6 up is fantastic. You can do 1080, 60 FPS.
I've done that before. I've streamed 1080 with a 3,500 bit rate. There's about 2 people in my stream that could actually watch me.
Yeah.
It's just, for everyone else, it was just buffering.
But the thing about that, it's not because of their connection most of the time. It's just because the web player is terrible. Yeah. It uses lots of bitrate for no reason.
I noticed there's a bottleneck somewhere in some Twitch servers, because some people I can watch just fine, and a day later I can barely watch them. And I know it's not my connection, so it's somewhere, maybe a server in Germany. I had feedback from other viewers that were watching me that they, on this day, couldn't watch me at all. But I knew it wasn't my fault, so...
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on with the servers and stuff. Like, for a lot of time, I even had some people telling me that they come into my channel and they say I'm offline, even though I've been streaming for 2 hours. Exactly. So, yeah, it's definitely due to the servers. and
it's
where
always
they
funny
are, and
how
so-
when you're streaming, people come in and say, "Oh, you're buffering. Sort it out."
No,
Yeah.
you are buffering. I'm fine.
You're buffering. I'm doing okay right here.
I actually had the opposite last time. Someone came to my channel and was like, "Hey, put the quality higher." Like, what? It's 720.
You don't need it.
Sure,
either.
it's not HD, but come on, it's not like I'm streaming 360 or something.
I was really surprised that a lot of people really appreciated the fact that I was streaming at 1 up. That's basically nothing.
Yeah.
But at that
Yeah,
point,
that's what I used to have to stream.
now I'm in a new place, but my old place had a terrible upload.
Yeah, it depends on what games you're playing. Like KSP is fine because there's
Yes.
not much movement, but like I
That's
started
right.
streaming Minecraft, and trust me, Minecraft is if you stream with 1,000 bitrate, it's going to look horrible.
I was so limited by the choice of games. My
Yeah,
biggest
Spin
mistake
Tires
was
one.
attempting to stream Borderlands 2. It
Yeah,
was
not
just
with that connection.
no, and on top of that, I realized that the network handling of Borderlands 2 is terrible. It's just garbage. They put out so much unnecessary data when you're doing multiplayer. It's just blocking your bandwidth. It's hilarious.
Yeah, so streaming is not a good idea with that kind of connection.
I tried streaming GTA 5 once on a 900 bit rate up. And everyone's going, I can't really see what you're doing. What are you playing? I can't see what you're playing. And I watched the VOD back, and it was like some unicorn just sneezed a rainbow all over my monitor. It was just this big mess and blur of colours.
That's what my Borderlands 2
Okay, I won't
playthrough
play
That's
looked
a
like.
good analogy.
At least it sneezed and didn't fart.
Yeah, so I didn't play that game again. So I just stuck to the Spin Tires and KSP was pretty much the only games that I played or streamed online. Anything else, GTA 5 or Fallout or anything like that, I just couldn't do it. So, but now I can. And
Yeah.
I can actually go the other way. I can stream better than what people can actually watch.
Yeah.
I'm just a freeze frame buffer screen for a lot of people if I wanted to be. But no, I think 15 for like KSP, I stream at like 1500 up and it's fine. If I'm playing something like GTA 5, I'll stream at maximum 2,500.
Yeah.
But anything higher than that, and most people can't watch you.
You know what?
Chat just fills up. Says, oh, you're buffering, lower your bit rate.
You only go above
okay.
2,000 if you are a really, really, really big streamer with a couple of hundred
Yeah, and you have to screen
people
all
to
the
watch.
time. It depends on what quality you're streaming. If you stream on 720, personally, I have 1600. And what I do now, since I have two computers, one for the stream, one for the game, I set the CPU codec on a higher quality on OBS, and it looks fantastic. I don't need more than 1600, even for games like Minecraft that usually takes a lot of bitrate to look good.
I'm not posh enough to have two computers, just got the one.
Well, mine was funded by my viewers. It was crazy. They
I've heard
funded my
people say-
computer in 3 weeks, and it was
Wow.
2,500 euros. It was insane. On
That is
New
nuts.
Year's Eve, I remember I started streaming at midnight, like spot on. Boom! It started. I think it was a viewer called Banana Doto. Hi to you if you're listening to that.
Yeah,
And he
banana,
started
we know
with
banana.
huge nuke, and then everyone followed. And a few days after that, I had my computer. It was insane.
And I'm so going to visit Banana. It's not too far away. It's still a good travel. So looking forward to that.
It's not as far as Australia, is it? Bloody hell, I'm like completely isolated from the rest of the world where I live.
Yep.
All these people meeting up to do great things, and there's just me sat there drinking beer. That's all I can do.
And sweating. A lot of
And
sweating.
Yeah. Drinking beer and sweating. There's a picture for people.
We should really move on into a deep, cold cave. And I would like to know what would be your perfect man cave. Because I just moved, so I set up my man cave. I know Aki did that twice this year too, because he moved twice.
I'm crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy.
It was all for the lulz as well. That's what it was for.
So let's pretend you have enough money to spend. You can choose whatever you want. How would your perfect man cave would look like? Aki, I think you're gonna start because you did it twice this year.
Yeah. Well, the last house I lived in, I built exactly how a man cave shouldn't be. because that's what I do. I tweeted pictures on how not to build a man cave. But I'm actually in this new house. I've got my own room now. I call it the command center or the studio or the man cave, whatever you want to call it. But I'm assembling it now. Big computer, of course. It's always going to start with a big computer. It's going to be on a big desk. So I'm not actually a console person. I don't play console. So I'm not one of these that's going to have a big TV with a PS4 and Xbox One and everything on it. I don't play consoles. I am a PC thoroughbred, really. That's all I have. But so I'd have me computer with me desk. So that'll be at least 2 monitors. You got to have that. And the setup, to be honest, the setup I've got, I'm pretty happy with. I'd like a bigger monitor. So I'd like a 27-inch monitor for editing for the other stuff that I do. But I've got a gaming monitor and a standard monitor. But as long as I've got at least 2 monitors, I'm happy. I couldn't function on 1 monitor anymore, ever again.
Yeah. I
just couldn't do it.
Once you go to 3 monitors, you can't come back to 2 either.
I had 3, but one of them died. And to be honest, I haven't missed the 3rd monitor too much.
Oh,
but I think that's because I knew it was going to pack in. So it was like a privilege to have 3 monitors. It was always a temporary thing, and I knew that. So that's probably why it was easier for me to lose the monitor. But I plan on replacing it. Yeah, I got my computer and my big desk. It had to be one of those big standalone desks as well. One of those big boss desks that in the center of the room. Do you know what I mean? With a chair behind it, and you have 2 chairs in front of it where people can talk to you if you allow them to. It'd be one of those big desks.
Do you want a switch that you can, open a trap so they fall down as well if they talk shit to you?
Press a button that sort of releases a starved tiger or something out of the cage. So starved tiger at the ready at the push of a button. No, I won't say that. I don't need a starved tiger. We'll get all the green people coming in going, oh, you can't say that. So yeah, big standalone desk with all my monitors and everything I've got now. Basically, I'm happy with that computer. But then you'd need a shabby couch that sits in front of a huge flat screen TV, at least 65-inch flat screen TV with big surround sound and that. And then I can sit there and I can watch films.
What is this weird inch thing you're talking about?
I should use millimeters because it sounds so much longer, but it reads better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you measure TV screens in then?
Oh, we use inches as well. I don't know why Neil went there.
In Germany, you have 2 different ways to determine how big a screen is, and that's diagonal inch and also diagonal centimeter.
Oh yeah, now that you say it, for the computer screens, it's and tablets and stuff like that, phones, it's all in inches.
Yes.
But now that you say it, but I never watched television, so that's why I didn't pay attention. But television is actually in centimeters.
Yeah, my TV is 110 centimeters in diagonal.
Yeah, now that you say it, yeah. I never watched television, so I never paid attention to it.
I haven't watched television for almost 6 or 8 years now.
I only watch television when I go to my parents' house because when we eat, there's always a television on.
You guys haven't seen Breaking Bad then?
Oh, I do watch some TV shows, but I watch it on Netflix or stuff like that.
Just without any advertisement, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, I like to have the choice to what I want to see and not to have to set up, a schedule to watch what I want to watch. That's the problem with television. Is if you want to follow a TV show, that, for example, every Friday at 8 p.m., there's I don't like that. I want to be able to watch it anytime I want.
I can't stand watching a series only 1 episode a week. I can't stand it. I'd rather just don't watch it for half a year and then watch all the episodes in one weekend.
That's what I usually do. The only show I can't do that is Game of Thrones because I'm so hyped about it every time. I need to watch a new episode. But otherwise, I'm the same. I wait until the show is over.
I really should start watching that, but I have too many series already.
I got to series 2 and kind of gave up.
Really?
A lot of people tell me off for that and say, "What are you doing? Why would you give up? Why would you do that?"
It's like the only TV show that I'm really addicted to.
I know everyone keeps dying.
It's not as bad as the books. Apparently, a friend of mine read the books and every page there's someone dying. It's crazy.
I'm so looking forward to finally catch up with all the episodes from The Walking Dead. I'm a huge fan.
I can't go through the first seasons of Walking Dead.
No, it's a pain to go through them. The very first season is great.
The acting is terrible. The like nothing is good in the first season. Let's be honest.
No, I think the first season is fine.
Is good.
It's between 3 and 5 that really suck. It's like reading a book you're not interested in.
I don't know. Personally, I watched the 2 first episodes and I was like, no, I can't do it. I just didn't like it. The acting, no. At some point, I was like, yeah, okay. I kind of gave up. Like, I want something else. Like, there were so many video games and movies and stuff like that about zombies, and yeah, that was a bit of a dose for me.
The last TV series I watched was Orange Is the New Black, but that was a kind of a joint thing with my wife. It wasn't too bad. Before that, I think the last series I watched before that was Dexter. I think it was season 5. It started to tail off.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons, but then I don't know, I wasn't really addicted to it, so I kind of gave up on it.
I limit myself with the episodes and the TV series I watch a lot because I know I would want to watch everything and it would be a time sink basically. So I just...
Yeah, that's exactly my problem with it. It's like a TV show, usually episodes are like 15 minutes. And when you see a TV show that has like 5 seasons, like, oh my God, that's not good. And I remember that was my problem with Breaking Bad, for example. That's why I didn't watch it. And at some point, I had a very bad episode of insomnia. I didn't sleep for like 3 days.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I took the time to watch the whole show in one sitting almost.
That's a way to deal with insomnia.
Yeah. Take that, insomnia.
So it was pretty cool. It was me completely high because I didn't sleep for 3 days watching a show about, drug dealers and stuff like that. It was very appropriate.
Oh my God.
Yeah, okay. Big TV, big surround sound, and nice big sofa with cup holders. And then at the back of the man cave would definitely be a bar with like a darts board and optics and beer and wine, whatever you wanted. My man cave would definitely be a social place. You can have friends round if you got friends to invite over. It's nice having all these things. End up just sitting in the corner drinking beer. Yeah. But that's my man cave.
Well, for me, if you give me a limited amount of money, man, there's so many things I love to do. Well, first of all, I got to go with computer as well, right? I mean, 2 computers as well, because for streaming, it's better that way.
I don't want to fall in the 2 computer trap. I've heard that people say when you got 2 computers, you'll never go back to 1 computer. It's like monitors. I can't see the sense in having 2 computers right now. But I know that if I bought a second computer to do all the extra bits and pieces, I wouldn't be able to go back to 1 computer. So I'm actively avoiding that.
I kind of get it. But yeah, for streaming, it's so good. So yeah, 2 computers, obviously, big desk, etc., etc. But what I would love on top of that is have a real studio, not only for the streaming, but for everything that I could do. I'm a musician, right? So I would love to have a real studio with good instruments and good recording systems. So that would cost a lot of money, right? That would be like, I don't know, something like 50,000 euros just for that. And then I would have also a very social place. I like tabletop games and I play almost every week. I had a room with a bar as well and with a nice table. Like some kind of poker table or more like snooker. This kind of table without the holes, right?
Yeah.
So
do you realize how big a snooker table is?
Yeah, not a snooker table, but I mean that's the idea, right? That kind of shape.
When I saw a snooker table for the first time, I was shocked how big it is. I know a normal table.
And the balls are so small. Like, how the hell do they do that?
I was expecting
you've been edging your way around the room. Because the snooker table was just taking up so much space. I get to the bar, hang on a minute, it takes me 10 minutes to get there, so I've got to crawl under the snooker table to get to the bar.
It's just so huge, and the balls are so small, and it makes things so much more difficult. It looks kind of easy on TV, because you don't have a visual clue for the size of that thing.
Yeah. You don't see them sneakily whip out their binoculars, just have a look at the other end of the table to see what the situation with the balls is.
And a little wind flag in the corner.
So yeah, I would have something like that. So, with the edges on the table like that, because this way when you throw dice, it's not going to fall down and you have a lot of room. And, the surface of the table is nice to throw cards in and stuff like that. So I would have a table like that. And also lights, cameras, microphones so I could record. That's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but that you need a lot of stuff to do that. Is do some kind of show where we would play tabletop games or role playing or whatever, stuff like that. And I wouldn't have a television personally. because it's the same. I'm not a console player. And
no, I'd have it for like films and Twitch and YouTube and stuff.
But I would use it more in a way that bars and clubs use it. I would mount it very high on the wall and kind of like a third monitor or a fourth maybe, just connected to the PC.
I hate that though. You go into a bar and there's a TV playing. You end up just stand there watching the TV. There's no sound or anything. You sat there, stood there, just reading it.
Yeah, just swallowing in. Yeah.
Really winds me up. And he turned around. Right, I'm going to turn around, turn my back to it, and talk to my mate. And he sort of can't, without even thinking about it, just turn around again and start watching the TV. But you just stand there and watch it anyway. Wow, that was a mini rant. Sorry about that. Clearly, I have some issues with TVs in bars.
Well, for some reason around here, they don't... Well, some just play a news channel or something like that, but muted, so it doesn't make sense at all. But a lot of bars moved over to just use some scenic films, I guess. Maybe some use a fireplace or just some video from a forest or something like that.
I had a friend who had this place where, in the city I live, that's what we call a bar craft. So it's kind of like a bar. He was also doing some food. But the idea is to get the idea of the bar and add all the nerd thing on top of it. So, for example, when there was a tournament of StarCraft, League of Legends, or stuff like that, it was showing on the television. And we did a lot of events like that. It was pretty cool. And that was a very social place. So we're all there. And it was like, watching football or soccer, depending on where you live.
Football.
Yeah, football. I think we all agree on that. Well, I don't care because I don't watch it anyway. But it was like, watching football, but instead we were all nerds watching people video games. That was pretty cool.
With
some
you're
good
watching
food,
proper football, not American egg ball.
Well, it's called football because it's a foot long, I think, something like that. I don't know.
It's a football. Why are you using your hands? Clues in the title.
Yeah. So I could use a television, I guess, for that kind of event in my main cave. Yeah, that would be cool. So yeah, that's what we'll have: a studio for music, a studio for streaming, and a studio for tabletop games. If I had a limited amount of money, which I don't have. Otherwise, I think my apartment is pretty good.
If it's unlimited, unlimited money, have it on the moon. I don't know. It's unlimited, and I'd have my own Rancor as well underneath.
Aki, what you could do is buy a CubeSat and let it land on the moon with a webcam. And then just use that live feed from that webcam to
stream from the moon.
Yeah, you can say, only I have this view because it's my webcam on the moon, projected onto a wall in my man cave. That would be kind of awesome.
Why stop with the moon? Let's go somewhere else.
Have donations of oxygen tanks. Send me oxygen tanks, otherwise I'll suffocate. Won't be able to stream anymore. Come on, guys.
This gives the term donation goal a whole nother dimension.
Oh, yeah.
Donation necessity, really, isn't it? Please send me oxygen, otherwise I will die.
Please. If you don't like it, don't donate. It will stop eventually.
Someone send me a container of carbon dioxide. Troll.
Or helium.
Stream with that, you bastard.
Take that. For my man cave, I'm considering one thing you didn't, and that's the view. I would love to get at least on the 6th floor and a huge window to have a look outside over... I wouldn't really care if it's a city or anything other landscape.
What is this outside you're talking about?
You get a view of the next building across.
I just want to have a view outside. I would never go there because there are people and I would have to interact with them. So just very high up, looking down. That's all I need. And for the actual room, I would love to have a big room with a little PC area, obviously 3 monitors. The only reason why I have 2 is I was able to repair a broken monitor after I bought a new one. That's the only reason why I have 2, and I would so love to have a 3rd monitor. And one thing I've seen a lot lately is to mount a monitor vertically and use it. Yeah. That's brilliant. I so want that. I'm fine with the 2 monitors set up side by side, but the 3rd one would be on top in the center vertically.
Oh, you don't mean tilt it on its side?
Yeah, I mean that you rotate them by 90 degrees.
Oh no, my OCD just wouldn't be able to hack it. My symmetry would be messed up. No.
Well, for some things it can be useful. Depends on what you work on. I wanted to have another screen on top of my middle one, but I think it was a bit of a kill, so I didn't go for it in the end.
Aki, have you seen the tweets from Red Munchkin Gaming of his late setup?
No, I haven't actually.
Monitor galore.
That.
Wow, I think it was 5 monitors. 3 side by side and 2 above, and in the very center the microphone that was just I didn't feel comfortable anymore just looking at it. It's just too much, and I'm really afraid that once you would have that, you would never go back even to 4 monitors, and that's just no.
I feel completely inferior now with 2 monitors. I'll come back when I've got more monitors.
Well, I have 3 monitors, but they're pretty small. They're only 23 inches each.
Okay, now that we discussed our man caves. Oh, by the way, just funny story. There was a girl that was streaming. I don't know if she was a Twitch streamer or something. She was trying to take the term man cave and put it into girl cave, and that really didn't work out at all.
Girl cave.
Right after she said that, she realized what she just said, and it just... She went quiet for a moment, smiled, and completely switched topics. You may not want to use that term when you're a female.
Come into my girl cave. Okay.
I don't know in which direction you're going, but I kind of like it. Go ahead.
Yeah, especially you don't want to do that on Twitch.
Yeah.
Especially.
Yeah, chat would just blow up, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly gets an extra 3,000 viewers.
If you don't pay attention to what you say, the chat can be the most toxic place ever.
Yeah, I've done that before with troll follows. I always used to read out the name of the person. It used to come up on screen. I used to read it out. And I've had some stuff that I really shouldn't have said.
Yeah, when it's a troll name, I just don't say it.
Yeah, well, now I don't have any name appear, and I look at the names and I look at them. I don't just look and read it out. I look and go, okay, that's a troll fault. We'll just ignore that.
But at this point, I would like to give a huge shout out to Twitch, because they changed their terms of service a lot, addressing female streamers that are just showing their boobs as much as they can to generate as much followers as they can with stupid amounts of donations.
I'm not sure where I stand. I mean, I absolutely agree with you that, some streamers were going way too far. But then, I don't know, I mean, if you want to have, cleavage, then whatever. If that's the kind of people you want to cater to, like horny kids, personally, I don't care. If they want to do that, they do that. I watch a bit of, League of Legends on Twitch. And I remember that one day, I remember the name of the streamer. I see this streamer called Jessie Rogers, and I'd never heard of her. And she was like the second biggest channel on League of Legends. I was like, who the hell is that person? So I go there, I see her with I can't even call that a cleavage. With the webcam taking 3/4 of the screen. I see the chat going crazy. And it was the very first time she was playing League of Legends. And I was like, why does she have so much viewers? And so I Googled her name, and she was an ex-Pornstar. I was like, okay.
Okay, there you go.
So, yeah, it's easier to make money to,
What do people think she's going to do?
Horny nerds.
People just really expect her to just suddenly go, you know what, I'm going to do the stream naked.
That's why I don't like restricting the girls that do that, because, I mean, if they want to do that, that's, if they want to stand to that level, then go for it. I don't care. I'll do my thing. But the thing I understand is the community that follows them, and like, what? If you want to see her tits, just Google her name. It's as simple as that. She's an ex-Pornstar, goddammit. I do agree that there was, some abuse on that regard, and which had to change some things. But then I don't think they should go too far on it. But then I understand also that they don't want to have this image on Twitch, girl cams, basically switching from websites where other stuff happens and go there just to make easy money.
It doesn't always work. I mean, I wore low cut tops.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't always.
And I lost viewers and followers for doing it.
Well, I took off my shirt once and didn't get more followers, so I said, through it, I'm going to put that on.
Yeah, you got to try these things.
Can't blame a man for trying.
Yeah.
Working for her. Why is it not working for me?
Yeah, that's weird.
And the thing that I especially don't like about that it makes it harder for other girls to stream onto it. When you look at the big streamers, there's almost no female, right? Which is not a big problem in itself. It's just that, people tend to watch more males than females. It's not a matter of sexism or anything. But I've seen a lot of channels by females that were really good and then never got the numbers you would deserve because the chat was just so toxic.
On top of that, when you see a proper female streamer that does a great job, you will every once in a while see in chat, take your shirt off.
I don't think it's gender specific. I think the trolls tend to aim at females maybe more easily, but I mean, I do get trolls every day telling me you're gay or, you're ugly, you're fat or whatever. So it's not very, trolls are going to aim at everyone. So, but
it doesn't matter who you are.
The fact that there's some female streamer abusing of their body to cater to to horny kids is not making it easier for female streamers in general. Yes.
No, it's setting a standard almost, isn't it? Which is what Twitch don't want to do. So, but yeah, you
have to become. I mean, if you want to be on the internet, to put yourself on the internet, you have to be prepared. Whatever you do. Like the most innocent thing will get you haters or trolls or whatever. Internet is a cold, dark place sometimes. But we have to remind, that it's a minority of people that do that kind of shit. So
it's just sad that you remember and notice the people that shout the loudest more.
Yeah, they're the incidents you remember, unfortunately, isn't it?
Yeah, and every community,
remember the bad stuff.
Every community has the same problem.
Yeah, and we're so thankful for the KSP community. Every time we see such shit,
it's a quite nice community. Yeah,
it is a lovely community. Yeah, I'm gonna jinx it now, but I haven't had a troll in a very long time.
Every day I get trolls. Every day
I used to get trolls a lot, but it stopped. And I tell you what, I don't have messages appear on screen or anything anymore. So you get a new follower, it doesn't show anyone's name or anything. And I think that puts a lot of people off. Because
I don't have a lot of people abusing that. It's happened really once, not so long ago. Otherwise, most of the time it's fine. It's just people, being dicks in the chat.
I don't think in the long run it will have a very huge impact. Aki and Stan, you're on very opposite sides on that topic because Stan is doing a huge shout out to every follower with a voice changer and a lot of echo and shouting, and it is great. And Aki doesn't do that at all.
I'll acknowledge people, but I won't. I used to do the voice change, which I actually got from watching Plexi anyway. Yeah, the voice change thing. I got that. But when I started getting trolls and when the followers start coming in a bit quick, that's when I switched. And then after the whole trolling incident, I stopped people's names appearing entirely.
Personally, I don't want to give in to that kind of people, right? I feel like if I stop doing the shout out, people are going to be sad because I don't do it anymore. Yeah, it's like, kind of like giving in to the trolls. So that's why I keep doing it because it's part of my show now.
Yes, yeah, you are absolutely right.
Well, we kind of went off topic
now.
Yeah?
Oh, just a little bit. Yeah. We haven't even.
What were we talking about? Man caves.
Man caves. Yeah, man caves. My man cave. Thank goodness I'm not a girl. My man cave, like I said, 6th floor at least, great view, 3 monitors, and I really love those PC setups where you mount them on the wall, just flat.
Yeah.
But I would use water cooler to prevent any form of noise, probably.
Yeah.
A lot of great lights everywhere on one wall where everybody can see it, something like that. I really love my setup right now. There is a couch in front of my desk. I'm looking at a wall with a Caribbean wall picture. So it's basically a huge Caribbean picture with boats and a lot of awesome ocean. And I put a wooden frame around it, painted it white to make it look like a wooden window. And I even put a little white see-through curtain in front of it. And it really looks like a window out to the Caribbean. And I love it.
You love the outside world, do you?
I've been to Greece twice now.
Oh, nice.
And it's just heaven. The food is amazing, and the only thing I kind of don't like is the heat, to be honest.
Yeah. I've never been to any, countries that has like, dreamlike places, but yeah, that must be cool. Well, I mean, I went to Portugal, which got some nice places, but that's about it.
Hey, you talk Portuguese, don't you?
No, I understand a bit of it.
Oh,
but
okay.
The thing is, my parents never really spoke Portuguese when I was a kid. Yeah, I never picked it up. And now every time I try to speak Portuguese, it's only English that comes out. To be honest, I speak better Japanese than I speak Portuguese, right? But I understand it. I do understand it a bit.
Okay, let's move on, I guess. Woo, Topic change. And guys, we prepared something for the next topic. You're gonna love that. Let's see if that works out on the first try. So let's see what the Milkyway Journal has written this week.
Ding!
Made it! Yeah. So it's time for the space news section.
You know, we're going to look back on that in about 30 podcast episodes time and go, what a bunch of dicks. Why did we do that?
It's going to be so cringeworthy.
It's like,
We really did that, didn't we?
Well, I mean, we're
adorable.
nerds. We have to be cringeworthy from time to time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So one thing, well, I guess we're a little bit late to the show. We are talking about ExoMars 2016. So, hey, we're going to Mars.
Yay.
And
Again.
Again. And we are not planting potatoes at all.
No, not
potatoes.
yet, sadly. Although, I don't know anyone who would like to live for a year only eating potatoes, so...
That have been grown out of humans.
I like to eat potatoes even raw. I love them raw. Okay, you have to remove the outer layer.
You just pull them out the ground and start eating them,
Nah,
mud and everything.
No, not really. So, how does it work to go to Mars?
Yeah,
at
what
all?
exactly is ExoMars?
Yeah, well, the nice thing here is actually a collaboration. It's a collaboration mission between the European Space Agency and Roscosmos, the Russians. Mm-hmm. So this word that space agencies tend to hate, collaborative, working together.
Which is a bit sad because when they work together, they do pretty cool stuff like landing a satellite on a comet.
ISS is largely collaborative. If people are truthful, then the engineers and the scientists that do all this stuff, that build all these things, even though they're in the same country, they're not from the same country.
Yes.
So it is truly, fundamentally, it's collaborative. But the countries they seem to like to keep things close to their chest, don't they? Like, we know what this does, but we're not.
Which is sad because science should be, for everyone.
Yes. Come on, the Federation. We need unity.
It would be so much more efficient to just throw everything into one organization.
In a way, the Borg have got the right idea about stuff. Just saying that they've got the right idea about stuff. To a certain level.
Yes.
Anyways, this is a two-part mission, and they're going to drop a rover onto Mars. So there's another rover going to be landing there. But this is going to drill deep, isn't it? And it's to explore the methane. So Mars leaks methane. And it's more likely that the leakage of methane gas is down to biological life forms than it is natural production. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Let's define deep, by the way. It's 2 meters deep, right? But it's still a huge improvement compared to the previous rover, which could only scrap a few centimeters of the surface.
Yeah, any of them have only been able to just scrape a little bit off the top of the surface. And the purpose of the rover is to search for biological life forms. That's what it's there for, nothing else. The other part of it is the orbiter around Mars, and that's going to scan for the methane and just look for the methane deposits. And then drop the rover and it'll go and check out the methane and hopefully find out the source of the methane.
Is it methane or methane?
Methane.
Methane is KSB, right? I don't...
Oh, Kethane.
Kethane. Say it how you want, but either way, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just like aluminium and aluminum.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't get me started.
Oh, yeah. On my Minecraft stream, I have some mods that add some different metals, and there's aluminum, and I get hate all the time. It's written aluminum, so I say it that way. Before people get excited, ooh, there's life on Mars. It's not very likely there's life on Mars, but it's very likely that there was life on Mars.
It's even a high probability that the life on Earth came from Mars as well. The methane could be produced by bacteria that's burrowed deep into the surface. The methane is seasonal as well. It's a seasonal thing. It's not constant. It does.
Yeah, that's another
vary
thing. When we
throughout the
say
year.
life, we do not mean, aliens like in the movies. It's only bacterial life, which is already, if we find some, it's pretty amazing. I would be very excited.
It's still amazing in itself.
We are not talking about alien cows that produced the methane and
that would be
died.
cool too, but
It would be cool. It would be cool. Just a cow just sort of wander up to the rover and start licking the camera or something. All right. Okay, cool. That solved that one.
So when is it supposed to take place?
The first part is actually launching next month, March. It's launching in March. And then the other part, the second part of the mission, will launch in 2018.
So what's the first part?
That'll be the orbiter, that's going to scan for the methane. And once they found where the methane deposits are coming from, they can then plan accordingly for the landing. Mm-hmm. And then the next part will launch in 2018. So that's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very interesting because it's there to look for life. The other rovers, although they had some tools that might be able to detect life, they had other purposes. They had other agendas. Whereas this is
it's one of the first missions where the focus is really on that. The Rosetta mission, they were also looking for some organic components, but once again, it wasn't the main thing. But this one is really aiming at that. So it's the
focus.
Yeah.
You can't throw everything on a rover and expect it to work.
Yeah, and this one is pretty small too, from what I've seen. It's not as big as the I forgot the name of the other one, the famous one. Curiosity, there we go. Yeah. It's a pretty small one, so they can't really put a shit ton of equipment on it.
It's probably about the size of a golf cart, not the mass. The wheelbase is probably about the size of a golf cart.
And the only thing that really sticks out is the drill. Everything is kind of compact.
Well, efficiency is key these days, isn't it? Everything has to be nice.
Eki? Eki?
Hello?
Now you're back. You just went silent. Like someone pulled the plug.
Did you black out with the beer already?
Suddenly I wake up in the morning in my chair with a sickle down my chest and everything, and empty beer bottles around me. Like, I'm sure I was doing a podcast. What happened? I'm not actually drinking though. I've actually got a bottle of water.
I don't even plan on cutting that out.
So what were you talking about?
The size of the rover was the last thing we'll talk about. Yeah. Right, so I think it's about it there. So then it's a nice collaboration between the Space Agency, which is a collaboration in itself, and Roscosmos, the Russian Space Agency, is going to launch a mission with a Martian rover to look for signs of biological life, to investigate the methane. And methane is farts. So this is literally gone to analyze farts, if that's what it is.
Go there to sniff some farts.
Some farts. Imagine it with the other rovers. So what are you here for? I'm here
How in the world can such a serious topic all of a sudden move over to sniffing farts on Mars?
It's methane. That's what it is. That's how it's produced.
It's like, it's Titan. You would go Titan, it got lakes of methane. So
liquid
lakes of fart.
Fart. So is this something else particular about that mission worth talking about?
That's about it.
The real question is, why are we going to Mars in the first place? It's not the closest planet we can go to. There are other options.
Well, it's not the closest, but it's the most similar to Earth, which is pretty interesting, and it's worth taking a look at. Compared to Venus, we're pretty sure there's nothing, in Venus.
Well, actually, you say that. You say that. Here we go. So, Venus, if you get to a certain altitude in Venus, I think it's 50 kilometers, the temperature becomes same as Earth. There's oxygen in the atmosphere. You can extract oxygen from the atmosphere for breathing, so it's got plenty of oxygen there. And there's also, you're far more protected from radiation on Venus than you are on Mars. And plus,
but you're still 50 kilometers above the surface. It's kind of hard to build a base there.
It's floating bases, isn't it? It's blimps, it's airships. It's actually a lot more feasible and a lot easier to do than it is to go to Mars. If someone gets drunk and for a giggle lets all the helium out.
I think there's too many variables to make it safe,
Hey guys, watch this. What have you done?
How would you make the base, stable in that kind of situation? I mean, a flying base sounds awesome, but I'd rather be in the ground, personally.
No, it's just like a Zeppelin would work. Any form of gas that's light
we
enough.
all know how that can end.
Maybe Zeppelin wasn't the best example. We're going to take a Zeppelin for Venus. Are you sure about that? Have you read history?
What is your backup plan? Beans. Lots of beans.
It wouldn't be very practical as well to do researches. Like if you land on Mars, you can then take a rover and then go around and you can go to different places. And I think you get a lot more data that way. You need to get most of your money, right?
You get a lot more out of Mars. I think Venus, right? Clouds.
A good analogy would be the KSP version of that idea. That's the moon and Minmus. It's easier to go to the moon, but more efficient to go to Minmus.
It's the same with Venus. Mars has a lower gravity, right? So it's easier to come back from as well. If you build somehow a floating base on Venus, it's not very practical to then come back from it. How do you launch something from that situation? Mars is more practical than any other places we can go to. We also plan to send people to Mars. I mean, all the missions we've done so far, even though we didn't plan to, for manned mission there, we still get some data that can be useful.
To be honest, Venus has a super dense atmosphere. So if you find the right gas, it's basically like floating on water. The mass of the atmosphere is 93 times that of Earth.
Well, that's why the oxygen's 50 kilometers up, because it floats on top of the carbon dioxide.
Exactly. Yeah. But you don't want to land on Venus too. I mean, it's raining acid there.
You don't want to land there.
I mean, everything. It's way too much variables to worry about. I mean, there's a lot of variables we have to worry about on Mars too, because Mars having a very low magnetic field, very thin atmosphere, meaning that you can have some small meteorites hitting your base and stuff like that. It's still more practical than going to Venus for sure. In terms of looking for life, there's also some other places we could look for, and I know there's some planned mission, but nothing is fixed for now. But there's Europa. And I think Enceladus is also a good candidate.
Enceladus is the new favorite now.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
They're actually drawing up a mission.
So I don't know if they gave up on the Europa mission.
No, their ESA is about to launch a satellite that's going to go and explore Europa and the other ice moons.
So you didn't give up on it? Yeah, because I saw some cool things about that. It's going to basically drill through the ice and then explore the ocean.
They're working on some. That's right. They're working on some automated robots that will drill through and then swim around underneath if they can get there and explore the ocean.
Yeah, because at some places the ice is pretty thick.
Knowing our luck, we'd like land on the little small localized continental plate that's about 30 miles thick in ice.
Yeah. So we're not quite there yet, but that's another candidate where we could find life.
It's amazing that you can get liquid water that far out around these moons. I mean, it's all
but it's because of the tidal forces of its host planet. Because the tidal force is so big that the water stays liquid.
It heats the core, which warms the water. Melts the ice, warms the water. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the pictures. There's some big plumes of water going out of the South Pole, I think.
Yeah,
looks fantastic.
That's right. The tiger stripes. They leak out the tiger stripes. I think it is, isn't it? They call them.
I was always wondering, wouldn't the loss of water be so significant that it ran out at some point?
Even if it loses, I don't know, like 1,000 tons of water per minute, it's still going to take forever, right?
To put it into context, Europa's about the size of our moon, and Europa is estimated to have a lot more water within it than the Earth has.
It's basically a sponge.
So you've been to the sea. You've been down to the sea, haven't you, at some point?
At some point.
So you imagine just leaving a tap on.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a long time to drain the sea.
Things are big. Like our sun loses mass every minute, every second. It uses a huge amount of mass.
Millions of tons.
Yeah. It's still going to live a few million years.
That's the weird thing, though. When it loses mass, it gets bigger. What's that about?
Yeah.
How does that work?
So
we're not going to talk about what's going on in the center of the star today.
No, that's right. It's a topic for another time.
It really is. I think that covers that section pretty good. We have to remember the audience, I guess, that we are still in... That was a phone. I heard that. And
sorry.
It wasn't mine.
Aki.
How does your phone work in space?
Someone
Exactly.
likes my tweet.
How do you have a connection? What provider do you use? That's amazing.
If Daniel Hayworth ever listens to this podcast, that's Daniel Hayworth's tweet coming out to me. He just likes a tweet. So what's that about? Cheers, Daniel.
Cheers. And
thanks for ruining the podcast.
There you go. So let's talk about some more science, shall we?
one thing that really impressed me, well, 3D printing isn't new, but they're going to take it to the next step. And maybe at some point in the future are going to 3D print stuff on the moon to create an actual base there. And they are using, or they are planning on using a robot that 3D prints with the material that is available on the moon. And that is, well, the moon dust. And they're just going to mix it with a little bit of, well, it's not straight water, but kind of like that to give you an idea. And they will 3D print a protective layer around an inflatable module. And to prevent radiation getting inside and to stabilize temperature and all that stuff. So it's a pretty awesome idea to make well, in theory at this point, to make a moon station work at all. You can't bring every material there and put it together just with robots, and sending actual astronauts there to assemble a base isn't a viable option either, really, because it would take a super long time. It's already hard to build something basic in a spacesuit, so it has to be simple as much as it can.
The shell is also the most important place to protect from micrometeorites. The moon has a lot, right? You know, there's always some small stuff coming. And like the tiniest thing could completely destroy a base there. So the regolith would be a good way to protect that base.
Yeah. Wouldn't be just drilling a cave into the moon be even better? It's super easy to drill a big hole.
Yeah, but that's quite a big hole you have to drill.
I'm just saying it's easier to drill a hole or deliver a robot that can drill.
Well, you're still going to have to cover that hole afterwards, right? I mean, why not just cover the base directly with the regolith? Because it's cool to drill a hole, but then you need to protect the top of the base, right? I think it's easier to do what they plan to do, which is not a new idea to use the regolith to protect the base. It's been around for a long time. There's actually an anime that I've watched where they do that, not with 3D printing robots. The anime is called Space Brothers. It's about two brothers that dreamed about being astronauts, and one of them succeed, and the other one is decide to leave his job and to chase after the dream afterwards. And they do build a base on the moon, but it's not 3D printing. Basically, what they have is a huge machines they can drive to put the regolith on top of the base. And it's been a while for quite a long time. It's a pretty cool idea. When it's the first time I saw that was on that show, and I was very curious about it. But yeah, it's the safest way to build something on the moon.
It's going to be interesting to see how this idea, what it is right now, develops over time. And they're not launching anything soon, so it's just an idea. If it works on the papers and is a viable thing to think about actually doing and spending actual hard money on it, well, we would see how
now
that
the
works.
question is, what would they use that base for? Because building a base on the moon is cool, and I'm very excited about it, but then it needs to have real purpose, right? So that is the question, what would they use this base for? Because the moon is interesting, right? But I don't think we necessarily need manned mission to do science there. So
they do it as a dress rehearsal for Mars, don't they?
I mean, if we can survive on the moon, we can survive on Mars. That's the thing. Because the moon is more hostile to life than Mars is. Mars has higher gravity, so you're not going to lose as much bone mass and stuff like that because, gravity will, lack of gravity will do that to you. So yeah, if we can survive on the moon, surely we can survive on Mars. I don't see them spending that much money just for, let's say, rehearsing or what Mars would be like. So that's the thing I'm not sure about. Like I mean, I would love it to happen, but if there's no real purpose, it's not going to happen. That's the thing that I'm a bit worried about.
It's progression, isn't it? I think you've got to look towards the long-term goal a little bit more.
You and I know that governments are the one giving money to space agencies, and they tend to not worry about long-term usually. This would take, I don't know, 50 years to happen, something like that. what we could do is build a telescope on the moon. That would be cool.
Absolutely.
I think there's one aspect that would prevent that idea, and that's the moon dust. You don't want a telescope near a dusty place, and the moon is a very, very dusty place.
Yes. So that's why you would need to find a way to make it work.
Yeah, just stay in orbit.
Yeah, but in orbit you can't build something as big. So yeah, but yeah, I totally agree, because even on Earth, they have to redo the coating of the mirrors.
Yeah,
I think it's every 6 months or something like that, or maybe not that often, but it's already pretty big. I've seen some videos on how to do that. And just moving the mirrors, like, you don't have room for any mistake. Like, the thing is, it's one huge piece. I mean, if you break it, you have to rebuild another one, and that's a lot of money. So yeah, but I mean, that's just, an idea. Having something like that on the moon would be cool. And it would have a purpose, because it would be bigger. There's no atmosphere in the way, so you get very sharp images, something even better than what we have with the current satellite. So yeah.
There was one thing that was in the news recently. Maybe they could use them. That's the gravitational waves that they detected. I wonder if they could measure them even more efficient or in more detail by utilizing the moon.
No, because the measurements that they took were so tiny anyway that it couldn't get any more precise than what they'd already got it to.
The infrastructure you would need to do that. I mean, something like that on the moon, that's not realistic. It's way too big.
2.5 kilometers or 2.5 miles or something long?
Yeah, something. Yeah, there's two tunnels, right, going each one on different directions, and each is something like that. It's way too big. And to be honest, having it on the moon wouldn't, we would still need something that big. Basically, it wouldn't make it smaller to have it on the moon. That's not how it works with gravitational waves. So yeah, I don't think it would help. And to be honest, I don't think it's very useful to measure gravitational waves. It was more to prove Einstein's theory more than anything. It was the last piece of the puzzle.
The idea, the important thing about gravitational waves is that you can use them to look at objects. Now, bearing in mind that gravitational waves are not affected by anything, whereas light is affected. So light can be bent.
So we could observe things that we cannot observe now.
I'm a complete science noob.
So gravity, what is gravity? You have to keep in mind that space-time is flexible. Newton thought that, space was very rigid, and Einstein came after that. And so no, space-time is actually very flexible. And when there's like a sun, let's say a star, what happens is that it bends space-time around it, right? And gravitational waves, so the idea behind that is that if there's something really dramatic that happens, it's going to produce waves like in the water. So imagine you drop rock in the water, it's going to ripple, right? Water is flexible like space-time is. So that's kind of the idea, right? It's very simplified. But if something very dramatic happens, in that case, that was two black holes colliding, that it must produce these kind of ripples through space and time, and that's what we detected.
Yeah, I mean, if Mill started dancing about, he'd produce gravitational waves.
So you're saying if I gain a lot of weight really quickly...
No, but what it is it takes something huge, like the way they measured them was the two black holes colliding. It takes something that big for us to be able to detect it. But otherwise, gravitational waves are always happening. They are so tiny. They're so difficult to measure. It takes a huge event for us to be able to see them.
How they do it is that they send lasers, one in one direction, one in another direction, like with an angle of 90 degrees. And when the laser comes back, it gives them this typical form. It's kind of like a waveform, let's say. What they did is the laser went in each tunnel like 10 times, let's say, back and forth, and then came back, and then you could see the results. And the result is tiny. What they measured is absolutely tiny.
It was like 1,000th the width of a proton or something crazy like that, wasn't it?
And
really was
normally
tiny.
It's not observable. So the thing that they did is make the laser travel more than one time to augment the resolution, basically. And even with that, and two black holes colliding, even with that, it's absolutely tiny.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But the laser, it's the disturbance in the lasers that is measured. They take into account all the natural disturbances, such as traffic to continental plates moving, because that all creates disturbances. And when you're talking about it on the scale to which they had to measure, it's the continental plates moving, even though they move like an inch a year, it's still a lot noisier than what those black holes were.
And they did to make sure that the results were correct, they have two facilities, right? There's two in the US. I don't remember the name of both. But what they would do every time they would measure something in one of the facilities, they would wait to see if the other would detect it as well. There was also some false informations to make sure that, that no one was lying or anything. It was pretty crazy how they went about it.
And it's taken about 50 years for them to get to this point.
Yeah.
So a lot of work's gone into it. Decades of work have gone into this point.
It's not giving us any new information. It's just a last puzzle of Einstein's theory.
Clarifying a theory,
because it was already proven like at 95%, right? It was just a last puzzle. But like Aki said, it gives us another way to observe the universe. That's what's really big about it. Until now, everything we've observed was with light. And different wavelength of lights. But this time, it's completely different.
Yeah, we can see through everything.
Can we augment the resolution to really see something? That's the question. Because once again, we're talking about size is so small, it's normally not observable. It's smaller than an atom.
The best way to look at this is it's a new step towards a new method, isn't it? And now they've got this, they can then start working again on equipment that will be able to do this. But you probably won't see it for another 50 years. Who knows?
For now, the only thing we know is that we detected gravitational waves, which is already cool. But once again, what do we do with that? What do we do with that?
But I feel so guilty right now because you're talking the techie stuff and it's greatest discovery ever, basically. And the only thing I think is there are a lot of your mama jokes you can make with that.
And you're trying to sneak one in.
No.
And to be honest, I'm not really that informed about it. I have no scientific background or education, whatever. I just watch some, information on YouTube, like there's some cool channels that talk about it, or, I read papers and stuff like that.
When I was in England, I was subscribed to magazines and everything, space magazines.
So to the listener, take what we say with a grain of salt. We are not scientists at all. We just know.
Yes, we should have clarified that from the very start. What we say could be absolute bollocks. We don't know. Someone could be having us on.
We are in a bar having a drink. Who in their right mind would take us seriously? Okay, I think we should move on. We already talked about, man caves and it still makes me chuckle.
Caves too.
Girl caves. We talked about space and lots of other stuff, and now music. Every great bar has a jukebox. At least it used to have. And this is the section where we check out musicians or single songs that you should know about. So let's head over to the jukebox. So I've chosen the song Sing from Ed Sheeran. Oh my god, I'm a big Ed Sheeran fan. Think of it whatever you want, I don't care. I just love the music Ed Sheeran is creating, and the reason why is because of a movie trailer. And, weirdly enough, the title is Sing. Let's quickly have a sound clip of what it's all about.
Hey, what do you think A singing competition. Just think, your neighbor, the grocery store manager, that chicken, right there. Everyone in the city gets a shot at being a star live on my stage. Blah, blah, won't you be rolling, baby? If I can feel you to a kiss from burning like this. You okay?
Oh, yes, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I watched this movie trailer way too often. I chuckled more than I should have. And
It does look fun.
I haven't actually seen it yet. I need to see this. I haven't seen it yet.
the link is in the script. You're gonna watch the trailer right now, and then we move on. We're won't do anything else before you haven't seen that thing.
Doesn't sound like Ed Sheeran. Isn't that Lady Gaga?
Yeah, no, there's no Ed Sheeran in the trailer.
At the very end, there is.
I love the pig.
I know what you mean about the pig now. It's like me when I'm dancing. The sheep.
The bunnies are fun too.
Yeah.
Snail now. That does look good fun. Or Seth MacFarlane. That says it all, really.
When I saw that, I was like, okay, this is going to be interesting.
Oh, there's Ed Sheeran.
And so it's just a trailer, and the person that pointed that thing out to me is Rich Etno. He's another KSP streamer and on KSP TV too.
Rich.
And he
Rich to the rescue.
Rich to the rescue, exactly. And he, as always, had his hands in this one too. Not only was he part of the team that created the Minions, or...
Please tell me he's the voice for the pig. Please tell me he's the voice for the pig.
You can look that up. I don't know. I'm a huge fan of those types of movies, the animated movies.
Yeah.
I started watching them already 6 years ago. At the very
Well, I suppose the first one was Toy Story.
That was in the 90s as well. Was that long ago?
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so old.
Makes you feel sick. More beer.
I remember the very first movie that was kind of like 3D, but not real. A movie called Coraline. Or Caroline. Was it Coraline?
Coraline.
Caroline.
Yeah, it was Coraline. Buttons for eyes or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
That was a beautiful piece of art. Not only a movie, but it was really art. And
This one is quite recent. It was released in 2009.
What, Coraline?
Well, Coraline.
Yeah.
Well,
There is...
I suppose 2009. Still
Oh, there are two versions. Don't get confused. There are two versions.
Oh, okay.
The Coraline version you're talking about is 2009, but there is an old version, and they did that with stop motion. With clay and 3D figures.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm talking about that. It's super old, and it's art. If you are interested in that type of stuff, you really should look it up. I love the humor in the animated movies and what you can do.
There's a good balance of adult humor, isn't there?
Yeah.
So adults can watch them, but kids don't get it. And but kids can still, because we have Despicable Me on repeat over and over again here, because that's what the kids are into at the moment.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's one of the best. And there's one of those rare films as well where the second film was just as good, if not better than the first.
Yeah, which doesn't happen very often, right?
No, it doesn't.
Well, Rich had his hands in it, so it must be good.
Yeah.
About the music, why do you like it?
I just picked that song because, well, like I said, I watched the trailer, and then I heard those 5 seconds of Ed Sheeran in the end with his song. And in my mind, a flip just switched and said to me, oh, I have so much Ed Sheeran stuff on my hard drive, I have to listen to that again. And then I went mental on it. I wasn't listening to anything else but Ed Sheeran for days on repeat. And I even tried to sing along with Ed Sheeran on the sing. And yeah, I made it, but I never recorded it. I'm not a moron.
Did you do the quotes with your hands when you said sing?
Air quotes.
Yeah, I'm not a singer, let's face it. And I should never ever record me singing. That's why I hate karaoke so much. I would never dare to do that because I don't want to hurt anybody.
Fun.
I'm one of those, once I get up on karaoke, I do not hand the microphone to anyone. I'm there for the night. Just get off. I'm doing this song now.
Yeah, I can see a drunk Aki going, no, let me sing.
In our other house, we had a golf course. We lived on a golf course pretty much, and the golf club was just the other side of the road. And every first Sunday of the month, they did a karaoke night. And my girls are very, very much into Frozen at that point. They're twins, they're only 3 years old. And they're very much into Frozen. They're always singing, they wear the dresses and they sing the song when it comes on and they spin around and do twirls and everything. And we were at this golf club and the guy came on with karaoke. And a few people went up and started singing. I thought, I'm going to go up and let the girls sing karaoke. So I went up to him and said, do you have Frozen? Let It Go. You know that one? Everyone knows that one. Frozen, Let It Go.
And then he gave a very, very serious look.
No. I said, right, this is for my 3-year-olds. He's like, yeah. Here's the song. You got it? Yeah, I've got it. Okay, brilliant. Here's the name of my daughters and just call them. They'll come up. And he did. He called them and they both ran up. And I went up with them and I knelt down with them and held the microphone and they had the TV there in front of them with all the words on. Not that they can read, but they knew the words anyways. They were singing. Anyway, I was crouched down next to them and they were singing away. And then one of them just suddenly got bored and walked off. I was like, oh, okay, all right then. And then a few minutes later, the other one got bored and walked off. And I sat
you had to
on
finish
stage, so I had to finish the song. I couldn't leave it halfway.
Kids, why?
We never went back. Never went back. So there was me, sort of a 16-stone bloke stood there,
Singing Frozen.
Pretty stocky, pretty burly, proud to be British.
Never been
singing Frozen. I was fabulous. I got a round of applause at the end. So.
Oh yeah, you deserve too bad. Just for even trying, right?
It's the decisions you make.
Again, it was my decision.
I went out with my son, and he's 3 years old too, and I went out with him in the garden and teaching him how to skateboard.
Ended up with in hospital. That's how that day ended.
No, I was basically holding his hands, and I got a skateboard that is just like 30 centimeters long. So it looked like a normal skateboarder basically, and was just holding his hand, and I kept one foot under the skateboard so he couldn't fall off and couldn't roll away. And I was just jumping all over the place with him because I was holding his hand and with one foot holding the skateboard. And he had so much fun with it. Just rolling around, jumping over balls and little trucks and across the grass. He was so tired, but so was I.
One of those precious father-son moments.
Yeah, exactly. And then the rain started. I've spent 2 whole days with him inside, because he couldn't go anywhere. It was cold, it was rainy, it was windy. It was the exact same time where the bank screwed my account up and I didn't have access to any money for nearly 1.5 weeks. Good times.
Simple indoor skateboarding.
No, I will never ever let him even stand on the skateboard inside the house. It's way too dangerous. Not only for him, but also for my TV and stereo and everything.
My wife is a huge fan of Ed Sheeran. She went to see him live as well.
Oh, I would love to.
I didn't know this artist before it was on the list here.
Oh, really? Yeah, he's huge. Well, in the UK anyway, he's huge. He's really up there. He went up there really quickly as well. But yeah, no, he's wife's a huge fan. Went to see him live, and my iPod is littered with his songs because she's a huge fan. But I don't mind. Ed Sheeran's a cool dude.
His story is pretty impressive because he was basically a street musician and playing gigs in little bars and that sort of thing. And he moved out of his parents' place pretty soon, actually, and he just basically lived on the couch of friends or wherever, so he hadn't really a place to stay. And yeah, all of a sudden he basically got famous. Never really owned his own place. He started sleeping in places of movie stars all of a sudden. So he had a really, really fast success all of a sudden.
Yeah.
He's pretty grounded. I really love his music, and I like the way he transitions over to a new line in his lyrics without having ended the melody. So he kind of mixes that together. It's so hard to sing along.
He's quite a diverse artist as well. He can cover a lot of genres quite easily.
But if you listen to all his songs, there's one thing that pops into your mind. That person has seen shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is probably why he's so humble about everything.
Yeah.
Because he's had it bad. Genuine. He's a genuine guy.
He really is.
Always seems to be. To be a genuine guy.
I don't think he's playing anything for the camera or for the success. He really is what he is. I don't think he's fake by any means or anything that he does. He's just a guy having fun and a lot of success. I really like that.
Oh.
I just listened to that song. It's the only thing I know about him.
Oh, there's one thing I have to link you later. He has a live version of his song. What was it? You Need Me, I think. I'm gonna look it up, and in the meantime, Aki is gonna talk about his favorite song of the week.
Okay, so first of all, music is very, very important to me, and I always see music as like bookmarks in life. You hear a song and then it's like smelling a familiar smell. It takes you back to a particular time and place in your life. And so, yeah, for me, songs are like bookmarks in life, and they're really important. So this is California Nights by a American duo called Best Coast. So this is California Nights. And I only found these guys when I got to Australia. I was actually playing on one of my friend's stereos. And you know, when you hear a song for the first time, and it's not probably, I'd say sort of 4 out of 5 times that the song has to grow on you. You know, you don't listen to a song for the very first time and go, wow, that's amazing. You have to listen to it a few times and you become familiar with it, and then it grows on you. This is one of those rare songs where I heard it and I thought I have to have this song.
It actually reminds me of a band called Slow Dive. If you heard of it.
Okay. No, I haven't.
It's the same. It's a kind of music that we call shoegaze or dream pop, I think. Something like that. So yeah,
okay.
Quite enjoyed it too.
Yeah, I really liked it, and I downloaded it there and then. I haven't genuinely. I've listened to one of their other tracks. I haven't listened to any of the other songs, just apart from one other that I watched on YouTube. So I don't know what their other music's like, which is a bit weird considering I like this particular song so much. But it had a lot of meaning for me. So just shortly after I arrived to Australia, it's when the first time I heard it. Got it. I really liked it, so I downloaded it. And the meaning in it as well. The meaning in it is quite apt for me. So the idea of it is that everyone dreams of living in California. California is supposed to be this nice place that if you live in California, you've made it. But if you are living there, you know, it's not always as good as what it's been made out to be. I suppose the fundamental line of it is that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And that's quite appropriate for me. So I moved to Australia and I'm living in a nice big house and I've got palm trees in my garden and we go swimming pretty much every day. And it's always sunny, it's hot weather. You know, it's an idealistic environment to live in. That's what it's made out to be. When you actually get here and start living in that environment, it's not quite as good as what it was made out to be. So I liked it on face value initially. I also share the meaning that it's trying to convey. So
yeah, the song is actually pretty emotional as well. There's a lot of emotion in the music, so that goes pretty well with it. Yeah.
The female artist that sings it, she puts her soul into that song, into the vocals of that song.
Yeah, there are songs that I basically can't listen to because it reminds me of stuff that I don't want to think about. And it works the other way around. There are songs that are, I get in a good mood when I listen to them because they remind me of positive things.
That's how I view songs mostly.
Yeah.
If you can relate to a music track, then you then get an emotional attachment to it.
Is that general the type of music you listen to, or is it a special case?
They're actually an indie rock band, and my favourite artists tend to fall into that indie rock band. I've got quite a diverse taste in music. I do tend to avoid like rap and things and hip hop and reggae. I don't tend to listen to that music. I prefer guitars and emotion. Not that those other songs necessarily aren't emotional.
Yeah, but I do like this kind of emotion music.
And you used to play the guitar too, right?
Yeah, I used to be in a band. I've been in a couple of bands actually. I stopped playing the guitar when I had kids That's when that all fell apart. I still have the guitars. They're actually right behind me now. I was playing it yesterday.
What do you have?
Nothing special. Unfortunately, they're just a basic electric and a basic acoustic. But I did have a fancy Ibanez, which I adored. And that's one I used to play in the band. But I had to sell it for reasons that I didn't want to sell it, but I had to sell it, unfortunately. Yeah. But that's a story for another time, perhaps. Because that's a whole topic in itself. Yeah, Best Coast, California Nights. Not only do I like that type of music, but also I can relate to that song. It's about living in an idealistic place, or a place that's made out to be idealistic. When you actually get there, it's not necessarily as good as what everyone makes out.
All right. And when I read the name of the song that Stan has chosen for this section, I was already, okay, this is going to be interesting, because I can't even pronounce that. So Stan, what do you have for us?
So I guess I'm going to be the hipster guy when it comes to music in this show, because I am a musician as well, but I'm still an active musician. I have a band, and I've been playing with that band for 10 years. So I've been in the music for quite a long time. So I wanted to bring something that you don't listen on the radio usually, and something that is not necessarily famous, but it's still pretty good and interesting to listen to. So the band is Sunlux. It's actually not a band. It's one guy called Ryan Lott, but that does, work with different musicians. So the name of the band, let's say, is called Sunlux. And the song is Easy. It's called Easy. But I didn't really care about the album version. And what I really cared about was a live they did for a YouTube channel called La Blogotheque, which is a French channel. I do really recommend it because they make amazing shows. They do these kind of takeaway shows, what they call takeaway shows. And sometimes the band is just on the street and they make them play on the street of Paris. It's such a nice setup and it's different, etc. By the way, should we listen to it?
Easy. Pull out your heart to make being alone easy. Pull out your heart to make being alone easy.
So I like this song. The album version is more easy to listen to. It's more typical. I love the production on the album version. What I really liked about the live version is that it's so minimalistic yet very rich in a lot of ways. Like there's only a piano, a drum, and a guitar, and a voice, of course. That's about it. It's rich with the notes they use. It's rich with the rhythm they use, because sometimes you're kind of lost. You don't have really a constant beat all the time. That's something that we call polyrhythm in music. I don't know. I just like this kind of smart way of playing music. But even though it's very smart, it's still very, very emotional. Like the singer is not like a great singer, but it's the same as what we talked about. He puts his soul into it. And then the lyrics are pretty simple. It's not very happy. But I mean, the music is not supposed to be happy.
I was wondering, are they using loop machines?
No. They played everything on the live here.
Oh, okay. It was so busy sometimes that I was actually wondering, are they able to play that without any form of loop?
That's what I'm saying. It's so minimalistic, yet very rich to listen to.
Exactly.
And that's something that I really like about music in general. I like when there's different levels at which you can listen to music. Like, for example, one of my favorite bands is Radiohead. And you can listen Radiohead in your car and, without paying too much attention and just like singing along. But when you get deeper in the music and you listen to the bass, for example, that was a big revelation to me. Like the bass in Radiohead, you don't pay attention to it. When you listen to it, it's absolutely amazing. It is so rich and it adds so much to music. And if you would change that, that would make the music completely different and probably not very good. So yeah, that's what I like about music in general, having different levels of listening. And that's what we try to do with my band too, in general. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do, bring something new to the listeners and maybe make them discover some new cool bands. And I'll try to do the same in the future. So what do you guys think about it?
I'm gonna give it a try, I think, and listen to it when I finally have my car back. Oh my god. My car has been broken for almost 2 weeks now, and I'm just going everywhere by bus.
And when you drive is the best time to listen to music, right?
Exactly.
I do agree with that. That's where I listen most of the music when I'm driving.
But honestly, I have to use public transportation at the moment, but that gives me a lot of time actually focusing on whatever I listen to. So I can listen to podcasts, I can listen to music and really pay attention instead of paying attention to the road. And I kind of like that, honestly.
Yeah, because it gives you another level of listening to music, not the level that, it's not background noise anymore. You're really getting into it.
Yes.
And to relate to the emotions or analyze the music or whatever you like to do.
And on top of that, if you use in-ear headsets, it's just so much better than normal headphones or even
you're completely isolated
speakers.
And you're fully in the music. That's something that I talk about with my band when we try to record stuff. I always talk about space, different type of space, and that's what you get when you listen to music with that kind of, earplugs or whatever or system.
Yeah.
Because it completely puts you in the space that the artist wanted to create. Puts you in the middle of it and you fully experience the music.
Yeah, also the sound quality is way better. You can hear every bass note because it's happening right inside your ear. It's just so much better than with any stereo, basically.
If you have a really good stereo system, a friend of mine has put like 5,000 euros on it.
Yeah, well,
that's good too.
I'm talking about the average system everybody has.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you always lose a portion of the quality with a standard setup.
I mean, MP3 is, let's be honest, not a very quality in general as well. We were talking about that before coming to the bar in music or, in general, shit in equals shit out. So the input is bad. No matter how good the output is, it's still going to sound like shit. So yeah.
Stan, one question that may be pretty interesting to talk about. Talking about MP3 quality.
Yes.
What would the minimum bit rate for music be for you on MP3s? You can choose between several ones, and I usually go with 192. I think.
Yeah,
192.
To be honest, I don't really pay too much attention because I don't have any stereo system or my headset is decent, right? But I don't have a really good system to listen to music in general. So there's the point where it doesn't matter if I get a better quality MP3, I'm not going to hear the difference, right? I'd go with the same level as you do.
Yeah, well, but I think I messed it up. I think it was 160, not 62. 160.
Yeah, I don't remember the numbers.
Something
exactly.
like that.
As long as I have, like the whole spectrum, I mean, decent bass and decent trebles, then I'm fine with it. Bass, especially, because bass is really important.
Yeah, audio is super important. I do not scrimp on audio when I buy speakers or the unit itself or anything. The headsets, the headphones, even the stereo. I've got a Bose stereo system in my car because I have to have good audio. I cannot listen to rubbish audio quality. I have to have good.
I just don't have the money to put into it. I would love to, absolutely, but But I still have a vinyl player, which I enjoy.
Every house needs a vinyl player. Always have a vinyl player. Yeah.
There's something about the vinyl that I like, and we
actually the cracking and the popping, isn't it? It just makes everything better.
For me, it's not exactly that. It's the fact that the vinyl is not a bastard support. Like, a CD, you can put anything on it, right? You can put any kind of data on it. A vinyl is for music. That's it. You can't really put anything else on a vinyl. And that's what I really like about it. And it's also the fact that it's a pretty cool object in itself. And when you buy a vinyl, you don't only buy it or what's in it, you also buy the object in itself.
It's like buying a collector's edition.
Yeah, exactly. As for a CD, right? When you buy a CD, you don't really care about the CD in itself. You just want the music that's on it. That's it. So that's why I like about vinyl. And there's also the fact that the quality of the sound in a vinyl is usually very good because it's not numerical data. It's pure waveforms, right? But then again, you need a good stereo system to really hear the difference.
Yeah, you do.
And then,
like,
the cracking and popping is always nice.
You have the best speakers on the planet, but if your hi-fi unit is crap, then it's always going to sound crap, like we were saying.
Yeah,
Shit in equals shit out.
And I'm just taking the
Exactly.
cheap way out and use in-ear headsets for $30 to $50 and have awesome quality.
Yeah, you can get out with that kind of
Yeah, it works too. If you don't have a lot of money, you can always use headphones.
Yeah, the thing that I don't like about in-ear plugs like that is usually the treble are not really good. It tends to, sounds a bit, I don't know, there's too much bass in general. I don't know, but it's been a long time since the last time I've had some, so maybe now it's better.
I have to be honest, I only buy rather expensive in-ear headphones from Sennheiser. I don't mess around with in-ear headsets. I would never buy a cheap one for $10 or because the sound won't be good and it won't be very comfortable inside your ear. With the rather expensive ones, I can have them plugged in for hours and hours, and my ears are just fine. Don't make the mistake and buy cheap ones.
You're gonna regret it.
That's one of the few
Buy
things.
cheap, buy twice.
Or even hurt yourself.
Yeah, the cheap ones, when you listen to it for like an hour, it's really uncomfortable. It's not good.
Okay, I think that wraps up the jukebox. And next, we talked about space already, and music, and yeah, we are still nerds, so we have to talk about games too. We move on to the arcades. The first thing I'm really looking forward to, because I wasn't able to buy it, I wasn't able to play it at all, I haven't looked at any videos. Well, I watched one stream of the Red Panda, and it's...
Don't call him Reed. God.
Yeah.
And is he gonna get mad at me now?
He'll disembowel you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I listened...
You don't want to see an angry red panda, trust me.
Yeah.
No. Especially one that wears goggles.
Oh, he's gonna come with his creepy hands. No, I don't want that. That's gonna give me nightmare.
Imagine those creepy hands sliding down your face.
Yeah, I could rather call him the creepy red panda.
So what's the game you're talking about?
Fallout 4.
Oh, yeah.
And there was such a huge hype around that game.
Every Bethesda game, every time they make a new one, there's hype around it.
Yeah, you're right. So I played a little bit of Fallout 3 New Vegas.
New Vegas.
Yeah. I know what the story is about. And I tried to stay away from Fallout 4, but because, like I said, I wasn't able to buy it or have the time to play it, so I just put it on pause, basically on hold. Did you play it at all?
Yeah.
Both. Oh, thanks. I'm gonna get some insights. So, is it is it really what it promised to be? Is it that great?
Personally, I don't know what they promised it to be, because I didn't read anything beforehand. I just knew that Fallout 4 was going to come out, and that's all I wanted, to know.
Yeah.
But the game, I never finished it because I never had time to. So it's been a while I haven't played it. But for the few I've played, I've really enjoyed it.
So it seems to be a time sink, from what you're saying.
I mean, every Bethesda game is a time sink. It's, it's like, I've played Skyrim for like 500 hours. So, yeah. You can build your own, village, basically. And you can spare a lot of time doing it. So, yes, it can be a time sink.
I was so skeptical about that because it's a first-person shooter with a great story. How in the world are they going to implement a building mechanic into it? I was very curious.
Saying it's an FPS is not really right, because like the FPS mechanics in Fallout, first of all, it's not like any FPS. It's not the main gameplay mechanics, and it's like the gameplay is so much. There's so much more than that in the game. It's RPG to me, in the same sense that, Skyrim is an RPG.
Yeah, it's definitely RPG. I'll definitely call it RPG. The things about like the building mechanics and everything is you don't have to do it. That's one of the good things about it. It doesn't force you to do anything.
Yes.
You can follow the mission, you can build a village, you can build
this
loads of
kind
villages.
of one thing that the games force you to do, and something that it's like one of the only things I don't like about the game is that you can't be a full-out asshole, right? You're still gonna. I mean, from what I've seen, I've never finished the game, but you're still gonna end up being the nice guy, right? And it's something that I have when I play Skyrim, I like to be a dick, basically. There's not many missions in Fallout 4 where you can really be a bad guy, which that's the only thing I didn't really like. So that's the only thing that they really force you to be is, be the good guy in the end. From what I've seen, once again, I haven't finished the game, so it's not a spoiler, really. I'm just, assuming from what I've seen.
The nice thing about Fallout 4 is that it's very, very familiar. If you've played the previous Fallouts, you'll recognize this game instantly. I like that they've kept the essence of it. I like the way they've evolved it. It's the first-person perspective. You're still free to do what you want to do. You've actually got a lot more freedom than you did in Fallout 1. Because the Fallout 1 was turn-based. It was an RPG, but it was turn-based. And this is the customization. Again, the customization, you can be a character you want to be in terms of if you want to be a stealthy character, if you just want to be a heavy brawler character, you can do all that. The suits and everything, the suits are quite a big thing. I like the way they've done it because in Fallout 1, once you got the big armored suit, you had it. You got it from the Brotherhood of Steel, then you had it. You always had it. In this game, because you've got, it's not overpowered because you have to have the fuel cells in the back of them. You've only got finite use of them.
I still think they give you the armor way too early in the game. It's like the first thing you get, right? It's after maybe the second mission, basically. You already have the armor. This is the only thing that I didn't like about it.
You can wander around and find it straight away before you even do a mission, can't you? Fallout 1, you had to work for it. You only got it after completing a certain part of the game, and you really had to work for it. But the thing about Fallout 4 is that I can take it or leave it. I'll play it. I'm happy to play it. I'll go back and play it. But if I don't play it for a couple of weeks at a time, I'm not bothered. I don't miss playing it.
I didn't get addicted to it like I've been to other Bethesda games. Yeah, true. But it's mainly because I never had time to play it, really, because streaming takes already a lot of my gaming time.
But I'm not disappointed with it, even slightly.
I really enjoyed it. The ambience. I remember the first time I got out of the vault at the very beginning. I was like, okay, let's take a minute to take it in. that looks fantastic. Even though the graphics are not crazy because they still use this old engine they've been using forever. They're just improving it for each new game. So the engine is not fantastic, but I don't know. It's the art direction, I guess.
The content is usually more important to people.
Yeah, but to me, it's just when I came out and I saw all this landscape and I was like, okay, this is going to be a great adventure.
Yeah.
The
best thing, you can roam all of that landscape.
Yeah. But there's one thing that felt a bit off to me. The map feels small. I don't know for you, but the map feels really small compared to other games they've made. When you first get out, you're like, okay, that seems pretty big. And then you open your map and you see all the area you've unlocked already. You're like, what? So the map is really small. So that was a bit of a disappointment. Because I was expecting something bigger than the previous games.
So they are constantly sending you back and forth to make more use of the space available? Or how do they handle that?
They cram a lot of content within the map. There is a lot of places you can visit.
Yeah, it's very dense, right? It's not... in Fallout 3, there was some places where you could walk for 2 minutes without seeing anything. It's not really the case here. You're always going to have something to do. There's always some stuff to find. And in some way, it's nice because it makes the game more, there's more action, let's say.
And still doesn't take your hand and points everything straight to your face. So you have to wander around a bit.
No, absolutely not.
If they made the map too big, then you get people complaining that it's too much traveling time between.
Yeah, well, you have the fast travel, so whatever.
You do. Yeah, you do. Unless your power suit's out of fuel.
I remember playing New Vegas and thinking, well, if the fast travel option wouldn't be in, I wouldn't play it anymore.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not the type of guy that would walk for 5 minutes over and over and over again.
I don't care. Well, I like Fallout, but I prefer the universe of the Elder Scrolls. And in Skyrim, the way I play it, I never use fast travel. If I have to go somewhere, I'll go with my horse, and I'll find some other stuff to do in the way. I play in a very realistic manner when I play Skyrim. I have to hunt for food. If it's too cold outside, I need to be careful because I can die. Yeah, stuff like that. So yeah. I guess, for the typical player, it's better that the map is smaller and that you can fast travel, but I still think that, they could have made something a bit bigger.
The one thing I'm not too keen on is the ability to offload inventory to your companion. In my case, I always take dog meat on me.
Yeah.
And you can load dog meat up with missiles and rocket launchers and all sorts to take the weight off of you. It's not unrealistic, but you don't see dog meat carrying all this stuff. It's like he eats it and then you just pull it out of him as you need it.
Yeah, but then they've done the same thing for all the games. So it's kind of a mechanics where, you're expecting it by now. So I don't really mind it.
That mechanic is as old as Tomb Raider, so it doesn't bother anybody anymore.
In Fallout 1, you could get a backpack to increase your weight. You couldn't offload things to dog meat, for instance, but you could get a backpack to increase your inventory holding. And it's one of the first questions I asked, actually, when I was watching other people play Fallout, is, do you get a backpack so you can increase your load? No. I know they've done it in other ways, so you can adjust your outfit to carry more. I'd rather have seen a backpack carrying mechanic than
that actually have that on Skyrim 2, for example. If I want more inventory, I can make a backpack. Yeah,
I prefer that than loading up dog meat with a load of crap. But
it's the same. I understand why they do it, because it's a simple game mechanic, and for the average player, it's easier to do it that way.
But me saying this, I'm really nitpicking at things here.
Yes. Like we've been saying, the game is good, but but the music is amazing. Let's be honest. The music is amazing. Yeah, the visuals are fantastic, although it's still the old engine. The story, even though I haven't seen everything, it looked pretty good too. The universe of Fallout is interesting to get into.
Out of 10, what would be your rating? And do you think it was worth the money?
Well, I never give rating to games, but was it worth the money? That's a good question, though.
The thing is about me buying Fallout 4 is I bought it in Australia, and it was like $120 for me to buy it.
That's ridiculous.
Games are just so expensive out here. Was it worth $120? No.
Obviously.
That's because if I was in the UK, I would have got it for £1. So that's less than half the price.
How does it work if you order something online or digital goods?
I can still order stuff to my UK Steam account, and I'll get it cheaper and play it over here. But the tax they put on games in Australia it's incredible. Yeah. And I didn't even realize it because they advertise it as however much it was. I can't remember now, but they advertised it as US dollars. Well, it was just dollars. So it was like $80, say.
Okay.
$80 US. But it was just $80. And I looked at it and I thought, well, it's Australian dollars. I would never have questioned it. Why would it be American dollars? I'm in Australia buying a game off an Australian Steam site.
Did you change your country in Steam?
Yeah, I did all that. I did it all properly.
Because I remember being on holiday in
another country.
Another country.
Most likely, it's not Australia. It was Austria. I always
not exactly the same place.
Yeah, not exactly. And I tried to buy something on Steam, and it wouldn't let me because I was not in the same country than my account was. And
really?
I actually had to contact the support, and they gave me a custom URL I had to go to make Steam believe I'm in Germany.
And so some kind of proxy then.
Yeah, no, not a proxy. It's just a special command you put behind.
Yeah.
So it changes, and that changes the price of the games. Kind of weird. You can do that. So if you are on holiday and you want to buy something from your Steam account, you're not in the same country, you can do that. But it's not the easiest thing to do on Steam as of right now. Because it will complain. It will try to give you different prices for the country you're in and won't let you buy it. And
So coming back to the price of the game, there's something about the Bethesda games that really adds to the worth, right? It's the modding community. You really have to think about that as well. Fallout 4, they give you this game, but there's also a huge modding community that can, renew your experience with the game for hours and hours and hours. So I'd say, yes, in the end, if you play it, if you're really, into that kind of game, then that it's worth the price because, you're not going to run out of gameplay anytime soon. And I've played KSP for 3,000 hours, so... Was it worth my money? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But there's one thing I wonder, because the Fallout 4 has been released early November last year, and it's still listed with $60.
Oh yeah, it's not.
So
it's
60
not gonna go
euros,
down
that is.
yet, Yeah.
And it didn't go down at all. And even the sales, I've seen the sales. They weren't that great, to be honest. You probably really paid $60 for it on release. And $60 is just way above anything I would pay for a game.
You do know you're going to get a good deal with Fallout 4, so it's a pretty safe. It's a pretty safe
Yeah,
bet.
because like I said, once again,
Investment.
you're going to renew, once you finish the game, you can then play it again like 5 times and have a different experience, just because if you want 100% the game, it's going to take you a lot of time. And then on top of that, you're going to have the modding community, which is going to have new quests, new gameplay mechanics, and sometimes even new, maps and stuff like that to explore. I don't think it's quite there yet with Fallout, but if it goes the same way as Fallout 3 and Skyrim, then yeah, it's gonna go there.
I'm just gonna use my old trick to just wait half a year or a whole year until it gets cheaper in general. At some point, you can buy it for $20. And
it's just a matter of can you wait until that? That's
exactly. And I don't mind. To be honest, I probably get some hate mail after saying that, but I haven't even touched Oblivion yet. And
I haven't played Oblivion. I've played Morrowind and Skyrim, but I haven't played Oblivion.
I haven't played Skyrim too.
Skyrim is.
I have it in my Steam account for months and months and months. I just don't have the time, or I don't want to play it because I can't keep playing it because I know that beforehand. Because things pop up and I have to do other things. And once I don't play a game for around 3 weeks, I'm not going to touch it again. It's dead.
Yeah, or when you go back to where you're going to come back and restart from scratch. If I don't play it for like 3 weeks, when I come back, I feel like I have to start from scratch again to be, to be fresh again. Because I don't remember what I did last time. I don't remember where I am. So yeah, usually when I don't play a game like that for a long time, I have to start again.
I had that with The Witcher 2. I was playing it, then I got to a point where it got super hard. I got a sort of like boss fight, and I tried it like 15 times and was totally frustrated. And then I thought, I put it down for a day. 1 day later, I'm gonna wait till next week. I don't wanna. No, I'm still angry at it. And yeah, basically 5 months later, I thought, well, maybe I should try it again. I had no clue what the key bindings were, and I had no clue how to play it anymore, basically. And just put it on easy and went through the fight and learned basically again from scratch because I forgot basically everything about the game.
Yeah, actually, it's the same for me with The Witcher 3. I haven't finished it yet. It looks amazing. The gameplay mechanics are great. The game is great in general, but didn't get too much time to play it. So I'm probably going to restart from scratch again.
There are a lot of games that have been released lately that have a pretty high amount of playtime. Like we were talking about The Witcher 3, the latest Metal Gear Solid. Then we have Fallout, and you can in all of them you can put so much time in them, and they're pretty expensive too. So.
So exactly, that's why I don't play it, because I decide to put my time into other games. And with the stream, right? I mean, I stream when I do my full schedule. I stream almost like 10 hours. So I gotta pick my games.
And no game ever will be able to reach KSP by game time played, ever. No.
Yeah.
Never.
I don't know. Well, I used to be a big WoW player, World of Warcraft, and I had more than a year of game time in my main character, so I need to make, the math. But I think other than that, KSP is pretty up there.
Yeah, but lately I picked World of Warcraft up again to play it with my cousin. He's staying at my place at the moment, and he's a pretty huge player. And so, I picked my very old account back up. I quit playing after Burning Crusade, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So I completely missed Cataclysm. I completely missed Pandaria.
Oh, Cataclysm wasn't very good anyway, in my opinion.
That's what
And Pandaria was fine at first, but after 2 months, I got sick of it. I hate the pandas now. I just can't, no.
And so I paused playing the game for years, and now that I picked up, I got a huge gap to leap across. And the game changed so much. It got so easy. And they're
going to try to change that in the next next
but they listened way too much to little whiny kids.
To the casual players, yes, indeed. But they're going to try to change that a bit on the next expansion. Well, first thing they're going to do is they're going to make each class unique again, because that's the thing that I really hate about the game right now, is that each class feels so bland. I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I used to play Warrior in Lich King and Burning Crusade, and there was so many, like, with the trees, the Titan trees, you could do so many different things, and you could really go in depth and, have different gameplays.
Yeah.
And then with Cataclysm, they completely destroyed everything. And like each class was just so bland. And they're trying to come back to that on the next expansion. Like, for example, for the one that summons demon, the Warlock. Like, if you go for the specialization where you summon demons, it's really going to be aimed at summoning demons. So, or, most of your skills are going to aim to that. And if you go for other specs...
Yeah, and that's what it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. They're trying to go back to that.
Yeah.
Apparently, from what I've seen, the dungeons are more interesting too. So yeah, we'll see. Well, I'm probably not going to go back to it, but from what I've seen, I have a lot of friends that play it. They're telling me they're very excited about the next expansion. Finally, they're going to get something where it's worth playing again.
Yeah, I'm probably not going to play Legion. I'm going to quit playing again rather soon, because it's let's face it, it's a time sink. And that's why I put it down. Not because I didn't like it anymore, but I put way too much time.
But that's why I've put down any MMOs, to be honest. I tried Blade and Soul. I've played like 5 hours, and I was like, I mean, it looks good. I love the race, the lens. It's so fucking cute. But yeah, I just don't want to put too much time into an MMO anymore.
Yeah,
maybe Star Citizen will make me go back to that kind. But Star Citizen is very different, so we'll see about that.
Aki, you've been so quiet. Did you play ever World of Warcraft? I think you did, didn't you?
No, not World of Warcraft. No, I was
EVE Online.
No,
yeah.
Okay.
Which is also another time thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, jeez.
And everybody is saying it's such a hostile environment.
It is. It's an awful place. But that game can end up ruling your life if you let it.
I mean, it's an amazing game. Right? It's one of the oldest MMOs out there.
I do miss it.
It's actually, I think, the oldest MMO with a subscription system still alive, which is pretty impressive in itself. It's not cheap too. It's like $15 a month, right? Yeah. So it's quite amazing.
A lot
that
of
the game
money.
is still alive. Yes. Well, at some point, if you really play it, you can pay your monthly subscription with the in-game money. So, like, the big players don't pay anything to play it anymore.
Well, you have the same mechanic for World of Warcraft.
And the thing about EVE Online is that it's not very noob-friendly at all. Just the leveling system is, like, when you start playing it, you feel like you're kind of late to the party. Because the leveling system is, how it works is that you have a 24-hour talent bar that you can fill with skills. And the skills take real time to be learned, right? And at some point, the skills take like a week to be learned. So if you want to get into that big ship you've been dreaming about because you've seen that on the trailer and you want, all right, I'm going to start playing that game. I want that ship. It's going to take you like 5 months to get in that shit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play that ever. No.
I do miss it. I do miss it. It is an amazing game, but
there's such a relaxing. I mean, it is a cold place and a ruthless place, but it's so relaxing sometimes to play it. Even when you're fighting, I don't know. It's
good fun.
Yeah, it's the ambience, the music, and the sound, everything. It's so cool.
It can be a very social game as well.
Yeah, exactly. It is very social because the players make the most of the economy and the politics in the game. So yeah,
the players make their own content, really.
Yeah. So it is a cool game, but very time consuming.
Okay, let's move on. And talking about Blizzard, there's one game, Hearthstone. I used to play it a little bit, not too much. It's really close to World of Warcraft, how the game works and how it tries to keep you stuck to the game and how it tries to motivate you to keep playing it. And there was one little article I giggled a lot at, and that's malware that targets Hearthstone players, cheaters. Cheaters. So there is software available to cheat in Hearthstone to see your deck or to see the cards of the opponent and everything like that. And
well, it's not exactly to see their cards, is it?
It's not a full
track.
Yeah.
It's more of a tracker. It tells you how much cards they have left, depending on what class they play, the probability they're going to draw this card or another card, this spell or another spell. And it also keeps track of your deck, telling you what's left in your deck. So what's you're most likely to draw. So it is unfair, right? Yeah, it is very unfair.
There is no way you could do that without this software, even if you're the smartest guy around.
If you're really good, if you're a genius, you could do that on paper, right? But it's very unlikely. But it's not a cheat in the sense that it gives you information that you could not get by being a genius and writing stuff down. It's not showing you directly the cards of your opponent. It's still very unfair, though. I think
really
people
is.
that use that are dicks.
Yeah, so there was a backdoor malware software that just locked the keystrokes, so they were able to steal a lot of passwords from Hearthstone players. And let's face it, a lot of people use the same password and even the same email address for a lot of services. So chances are, for example, PayPal or eBay accounts or Amazon accounts. And so people that are listening, don't use the same password everywhere. What I tend to do is put the word of the web page inside the password. So I'm basically using the same password, but I'm always including wherever I am the word of it. So I basically create a password that is related to the web page.
Yeah, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is do not use these cheats, or do not buy gold on website for World of Warcraft or stuff like that, because they're going to fuck you up. Do not trust them. They're here to make money. If they can steal your account, they will.
And if Blizzard finds out, you won't have an account anymore.
Yes,
just
exactly.
Remember how much time you put into it and what you would think or do if you lose everything.
And truly, what's the fun in playing Hearthstone if you have such an advantage over your opponents?
It's just the experience of winning, of completely obliterating the opponent.
What is it worth if it was not you doing it on your own with your own brain? It's not worth anything.
Yeah,
really.
Some people just want the success and don't care about the way to get there.
True.
I've never understood that, though. I've never understood that. Why play a game that you can win every time?
There are some games where playing with cheats can be fun. For example, I like Rocket League, and there's this mode where it's called Mutator, where you can change the settings of the game. And you can have infinite boost, and it's really fun, right? But most of the games, especially multiplayer game like Hearthstone, where the point of the game is to think ahead and build your deck and try to think of strategies and stuff like that. I don't see the point there. No. To have a deck that you didn't even build yourself, you just took a build you found on the internet, and then you use a software to give you information to make you win. That's not very fun.
No, it just seems pointless. It seems pointless even playing the game.
Absolutely. Well, personally, I don't play Hearthstone because I just can't get into card games on computer. For some reason, I need to have the cards in my hand. I don't know why. I think the game is amazing. I like the mechanics. I just don't like playing it on computer.
Oh, that's another topic we could talk about for hours.
Because I like Magic the Gathering, for example, even though I haven't bought any new cards for a long time because it's expensive. But I do like it, and I like to have a social interaction when I play cards game like that.
I still have all the cards in a shoebox. Oh my god, a complete shoebox full with cards from, what was it? Oh, I even got the old wrestler cards. I don't know if they were a thing in your country, but they were here. But that's way back in the day.
What, 5th edition, 4th edition?
For
you don't remember?
No clue. I haven't watched that. I haven't looked at the cards for years.
I still have some old cards too, yeah. I lost all my rare cards though. I don't know where I put them. I think I gave them away at some point. It was stupid of me because there was some money in there. There was probably like €100 worth of cards. Probably. So well.
Talking about crates, there is one service that's really interesting, and that's Loot Crate.
Yeah, very popular.
Very popular.
Yeah.
And I took a closer look, and it's not the cheapest service, to be honest.
In Europe, it's very expensive, yes.
Because they ship it from the US.
In the
fine.
US, it's actually pretty good for the price. I think you get a loot crate for like $50, and for everything you got in there, I think it's an amazing price. But in Europe, it's like €40.
Even more. Even more.
Yeah, so it's like 5 times more expensive than in the US.
Yeah, it really it's ridiculous. And I went to the webpage and the prices were just fine. But then I noticed, well, there's shipping to the US. I should change that to Germany. And then I basically closed the website immediately.
How is it for you, Aki, in Australia? Is it a good price for you?
I haven't even looked because I know it's even more expensive, and so I haven't even looked at it.
But I'm very sad about it because I love the concept. I really do. And I think each loot box looked very cool. And there's a lot of stuff I would like to have. They have
a very wide variety of loot crates. It's not just one service. You can choose from enemies, gaming, pets.
Yeah.
It's Star Wars or Call of Duty in particular. And you will always have something else.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's the fact that, you know, each month you're going to open the box and you don't know. Like, I would personally not watch what's inside it, wait for me to get it, and open it like it's Christmas, right?
Yeah, right.
I would love that, but yeah, it's just too expensive to me.
The reason why I would never use this is because it's rather useless stuff. You won't put on your shelf because you would need another apartment to put everything on a shelf after a year.
Yeah. Well, it's not only, you know, stuff like that. There's also T-shirts, posters, stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
I would probably not, you know, get a loot crate every month. I'll probably only get the loot crates that the theme interests me. But I still think it's a cool concept.
I think I would rather just watch it and keep it on a watch list, basically, and just buy those little pieces I really want to have.
Yeah, because sometimes they have stuff that you can only get through loot crates. So yeah,
until it ends on eBay or Amazon.
yeah. Afterwards, you can probably get them on eBay. But yeah, you know what I mean.
It's a reasonable price over here in Australia. It's $40 a month. I'm assuming Australian dollars. So, yeah, I'm assuming Australian dollars. So
and
that's not
then
too bad.
Comes the tax.
Well, there's probably a lot of hidden costs on top of that. Yeah.
How much US dollars does it make, or how much, a relatable money? Because I don't know about how much an Australian dollar is worth.
So 40 Australian dollars is probably about 20-ish euros.
I would get some loot crates for that price.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've watched a lot of YouTubers and stuff open them and that. It does look pretty cool. I've not really... I have considered getting it myself. But, yeah, money's tight for us over here at the moment while we're still trying to let everything settle. So it's not something I consider in the near future, but it's definitely something I consider in the moderate future.
And we're going to put all the stuff in our man caves, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
One's
for
on
the
the
price
moon.
it is right now in Europe, I am not even considering it. Even if I had the money, I don't think I would get it.
Yeah, just a waste of money.
Yeah, they need to find a way to make the price cheaper for Europe.
It's hard to do. If they are located in the US, there is no way to decrease.
I'm still impressed that they have so much countries they can ship to. I was really expecting a service only available in the US at first.
It's not difficult to ship stuff to everywhere in the world.
No, I know, but
just write the address on the box.
I know. I didn't think they would take the risk to make the price so high. I mean, some people have money, so they don't care.
Yeah.
But I mean, considering the price, I don't think they have a huge success over here. That's what I mean. I'm impressed by the fact they have so much different countries that don't think that makes them a lot of money. Let's see.
No two loot crate boxes are the same. That must be frustrating to pack.
Yeah.
Let's not get into the logistics behind the curtain there. That's a good time to switch the topic, I think. And there is one more game company I really adore what they make, and it's Telltale. Oh boy, do I love Telltale. The first...
I don't.
We're still going to talk about it. Lean back. So the first game from Telltale I was playing was the Borderlands series. And oh boy, is it great. And then I played The Walking Dead. Yeah, I mentioned that already. I'm a huge The Walking Dead fan. So I just no-lifed all the games from The Walking Dead from Telltale. And now we have a new miniseries coming up. The Walking Dead Michonne. Is that how you pronounce that? I think it is.
I have no idea. I've never seen that name before.
Aki, did you watch The Walking Dead, the series?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
No.
I'm completely on my own here.
Yes. Sorry.
I don't mind it. And yeah, so I just love them. And the way I play them usually is I try to be the nice guy and make every decision the right decision and play it as good as I can, be the best person I can. And then I play it again. And oh boy.
And you do the opposite.
Exactly. I try to mess up the game as much as I can.
Yeah. I've been doing that since Black and Evil. I don't know if you guys remember that game. But yeah, I've been doing the same thing. When you have, the option to be a good or bad guy, I always do the same thing. I do the first playthrough as a good guy and then do the bad guy.
I always have the hardest time playing as a bad guy because that's not who I am. That's not how
it depends the game for me. Like in Skyrim, I don't give a crap. But in some games, yeah, like I've played only the first episode of The Walking Dead and yeah, I didn't feel like playing the bad guy at all.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit disappointing because they are advertising it with choices matter, but honestly, they don't. In the whole The Walking Dead series so far, there are maybe 10 to 20 decisions that really matter, but you will see around 200 messages of the person will remember that in the game. And there's one thing I laughed my ass off, and that was when playing The Wolf Among Us. It's the very first game they actually made with that style, and they put little puns inside. At one point, I was in a bar, and there was a drunk guy, and I had a conversation with him. And then I had to make a decision, and he was so drunk, and the one line that popped up in the top corner was, "He won't remember this." And they kept on doing that, and with different approaches to just make fun of their own mechanic. It was just hilarious. So if you haven't played The Wolf Among Us, it's cheap as hell right now.
All the Telltale games tend to be cheap. Well, there's the fact that, they release it by episodes, so in the end you still pay a full game, but especially the old ones.
So The Wolf Among Us right now is at €23. That's kind of expensive. I think I got it somewhere else. I haven't paid a lot of money for it at all.
Yeah, but you get all the episodes, right?
Yes, you get everything. What I really love about those games is you can sit on the couch, grab your controller, lean back, and basically watch a movie, but pick the direction it goes. And so it's not really a first-person shooter or anything like that. It's a very lean-back experience.
It's more like live your own adventure.
Yeah, it's a great way to dive into the world and just lean back, relax, and get caught up in the story. It's all about the story in those games.
That's my problem with these games, is that that's the only thing they have is the story. I usually like to make my own story, right? That's why I love sandbox games so much, because I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. It's anything but a sandbox. It's not a sandbox at all.
But that's two things that I don't like about Telltale games. It's the fact that release it by episodes. I hate it.
I do too. I give you that.
Let me play the whole game, goddammit.
Yeah.
I mean, or at least the positive part is I bought the first episode of Walking Dead and I didn't like it, so I didn't buy the whole thing, so I didn't lose money. So I guess that's the good thing.
I'm not buying them when they come out, especially not if they are separated by episodes. I will wait
absolutely.
till everything has been released, wait another month or two, and then get a pretty nice discount on everything. And maybe there's a sale on top, and there you go. Telltale Games miniseries for maybe $15. So the first episode, Into Deep, just released on February the 23rd. This podcast, by the way, is recorded on the 27th of February right now. So we probably already have played it. Maybe even the second episode will have been released, which is early March. The story they are trying to deal here with is completely separated from the Walking Dead series that has been released already, but they pointed out on their webpage that they are working in close contact with the creator of the books and the comics. So
cool.
Everything that they present actually fits in the whole comic section and
yeah, that's very important when you have such a universe as well, as popular as The Walking Dead. You need to be
if you start to deal with parallel universes and try to branch out, it just gets confusing as heck, and a lot of people don't like that at all.
I think that The Walking Dead has such a dedicated fan base that it would not work if you try to do that.
No, the fan base would pick a stop sign, bash it on the creator, and just leave. So, like I said, the first part is already out. The next part will be available in March and another one in April. So it's probably a good idea to wait till June or July before buying everything. Or if you don't want to play them yourself, it's probably all right to just watch them on YouTube. If you can relate to the person that plays it, it's probably not too much of a difference for the experience of the game if you just watch it or make the decisions yourself.
Yeah, the game is all about the story.
Yeah, it really is.
That's what I did for the previous Walking Dead. I watched people play it, and I enjoyed it. It was kind of like, watching a podcast or something like that on the site. It was pretty cool.
Okay, I think it's enough games for today. Let's leave the arcades, and now comes something special. I mentioned in the beginning that we are going to talk about touchy subjects, mature subjects. And here it is. We are going to enter the restroom. Where we get our hands on touchy subjects and swiftly move on after washing our hands in innocence. And this is the section where we talk about a topic you wouldn't talk about normally in a podcast. We'll try to shed some light on subjects who you would or should talk about. And this week, it's prostitution. This was a hard topic to do some research on. Let me give you that.
Don't click on images.
Don't click on images. Yeah, don't even try to go to the image search. Just go straight to Wikipedia and enter prostitution right there. Nowhere else.
Yeah. Or shopping. Don't click on the shopping section either.
Yeah.
Okay, that would come up with some interesting results. How do you shop? No, I don't even want to know. So, from a viewpoint of a non-customer, there isn't too much I knew beforehand about prostitution around the world, or specifically in Germany. I just knew it was there, and I knew roughly where they have the... What are they called? Brothels?
Brothels.
Brothels. There you go. You see, I don't even know the word for it. I would probably have called them a whorehouse or something. Works. So I found a lot of stuff out that I wasn't aware of. For example, prostitution was always legal in Germany. And still to this day, it's not very common to have prostitution legal. I mean, completely legal, with a regulated environment by the government and a fully, basically, support and protection from both employees and customers for that service. I found a world map that highlights every country with one of four colors. It's either prostitution is legal and regulated, or it's just legal but not organized, and brothels are illegal, or everything is illegal. And the fourth one would be no data, and that's just for two countries that are basically very close to the ass crack of the world, I guess. It's very common to have it completely illegal, no matter what.
Yeah, I was surprised about that.
I'm not surprised that it's completely illegal in America, except Nevada, where Las Vegas is.
Yeah. I guess most of the time it's illegal for ideology. That's a hard word for me to say. Ideological reason. Basically, either religion or the culture of the place, I guess. So actually, it kind of makes sense.
I'm surprised Eastern Australia is completely legal.
Yeah, I wonder why. I never knew Australia is separated like that.
No,
even from a political standpoint.
It's not legal in my state. Well, it is legal, but it's not. It's illegal to be organised.
Which I think is a kind of a lazy position to take in the matter. Like, yeah, do it, but we don't want to know. It's basically that.
It's legal, but it's frowned upon, sort of thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
kind of
exactly.
like that. But there are other countries like Russia or Poland. Sex tourism is kind of popular there, and just the basic prostitution service, you can see that everywhere, in every big city, in Asia
Russia.
and in East Europe, and it's completely illegal everywhere there. But the government just doesn't give a crap.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not a big surprise for me that in Russia or China it's illegal, because these are countries where they tend to impose a lot on the people, right? That's very rigid. They don't want to give an image to the outside world that where, they would tolerate that kind of things, right? Because they see it as something very bad.
Yeah,
I guess it's not a big surprise that even though there's a lot of sex tourism in these kinds of countries, it is legally illegal.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Germany is taking the right approach here to the whole prostitution thing.
Yes.
Because what they do, or what they did since 2000, is they didn't consider it immoral by law anymore. And they started to regulate the whole process with laws. And for example, they are protected from violence, exploitation or abuse by the laws. There are off-limit areas where they are not allowed to work, basically. Well, that's obviously for youth protection. You don't want that anywhere near schools. That's obviously, right. But what they also do is they provide healthcare, a health insurance, a public pension insurance, unemployment insurance. But well, that's kind of weird for the
Yes. I don't know about Germany, but can they do it like in the street, right? Just go in the street and pick up people like that? Or is that illegal? Or do they have to be under,
as long as you're not in the off-limit areas, that's okay.
Okay. The question there was can you be your own boss? That's what I was asking.
Yes, that would work.
Okay.
That would work. From what I've read so far, that would work. So it's not common, but you see a prostitute every once in a while just standing on the sidewalk, and that's perfectly fine as long as she's not close to anything.
Man, in Lyon, there's some places where you're gonna see many.
Yeah, well, you got that all over.
In one street, you're gonna have the vans on the side, like 10 vans in a row. It's prostitutes, and there's some places where they are in the streets, and there's like a group of 5 on one end and another group on the other.
It really depends on the surroundings. So I was working as a truck driver for several years, and it was completely normal to see a caravan every once in a while with a red heart in the front.
First, it's a candle.
Okay, but any sign would work. But you knew exactly what's going on there.
As long as people understand what it is,
yeah, and you're not offended by it. It's just there. Nobody gets bothered.
Well, I'm
it's
not
perfectly
offended
fine.
by anything, so you cannot offend me at all.
Yeah, and the latest thing they are going to include in Germany, they're going to talk about it next month in March, and late summer they're going to regulate a little bit more. They're going to implement a condom obligation. So you have to use a condom.
Which is great. Yeah.
By law, exactly, which is great. And if you want to open up a brothel, you have to get permission for that. So it's completely official. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to open a brothel there. Those people are going to work there. And on top of that, every year, all employees, not just the prostitutes, but all employees that work at the brothel have to go to a health checkup to make sure they are healthy.
Don't have any...
and they have to, what is it called? Compulsory registration on a 2-year basis. So they have to just say
it's great.
They're still there every 2 years.
It's great because the thing that I don't like about, I mean, either if you choose to make it illegal, then fine. I mean, it's, I'm not going to critique the countries that make a stance, let's say. But like how it is in France, they know it's going to happen, right? They know it, but they don't do anything about it. It's just like, not acknowledging the problem. Well, it's not really a problem. I don't see it as a problem. But it can generate problems, and they're not acknowledging it at all, which is really stupid, in my opinion. We used to say, it's the oldest job in the world, right? It has always been here since, ancestors. So, it's going to happen. So why not make sure that the woman that decide to go this way, if they do decide to go this way, right, it's their own choice. It's their decision to do what they want with their body. why not make sure that everything goes well?
Exactly, and that's the biggest point in prostitution. If you make sure everybody that is a prostitute does it without any force, then everything will be just fine.
Yes, exactly. If that's their own choice.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how they make the choice too, right? If they make the choice because...
if they're desperate, that's not a choice.
Yeah, because they're
opinion.
desperate. Yeah, it's not really a choice. Exactly. So I agree with that.
But every once in a while, there are women that say, I just like sex so much and I don't care about who.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why, the Pornstars do. I mean, they do it by choice, right?
But if you're a porn star, you probably fuck with pretty good looking guys most of the time.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, but you end up on camera and you end up on the internet, right? Which is not what everyone would like, right? That's the thing, right? Porn stars are protected, right? I mean, in France, they are, it's a real job. They are an organization, etc. So what's the difference?
The main difference probably is porn stars are more treated like actors and movie stars. But although it's not really a movie, but they're still considered by law as an actress.
Yeah, I mean, why is that? Because since porn became a thing, countries decided to not ignore it.
Yeah.
And to work with it because it was going to happen anyway, right? So it was a bit easier to implement because it's part of the movie industry, kind of. So it was a bit easier to implement. There was already a structure, but still, right? They could have decided to make it illegal. Just as much as prostitution, or to ignore it completely.
That's what they do in most countries. They try to make it illegal for the customers, but they don't charge the prostitutes and they don't charge the pimps, just the people that actually go there. And that's kind of weird. Rather you support it, or you do it like, who was it? I think it was Sweden that just tries to charge everybody that is involved in anything related.
I don't know. I would never go to a prostitute because sex is part of a relationship. It's, if I don't love the person, then I won't have sex with them. I mean, I'd rather have some guy that cannot keep it in his pants go to a prostitute rather than, do it in a much more horrible way. He thinks, he can spare $50 to get laid, then...
But when I did the research, there was one thing that made me laugh about Germany again. Taxes.
What was it? Oh, they tax it too.
Taxes. And
I mean, of course, if the government is going to get involved into it, it's going to be taxes.
That's not even the funny part. The funny part is how they try to collect the taxes, how to set the base, how much tax should be raised at all.
Yeah.
So one thing they tried in Germany, just in one city in Bonn, they reprogrammed a ticket machine for parking and said the tax would be €6 for 10 hours for a prostitute. So if she wants to work, she has to go to that ticket machine for parking that had been reprogrammed for
so they charge a prostitute instead of charging the customers.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
And for every 10 hours, she had to pay €6.
Okay, yeah.
Basically like buying a prostitution ticket.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So that was pretty funny. And other approaches were like €10 per square meter for brothels in general.
Yeah.
But it's super hard to collect that money because most of the brothels don't work officially as brothels. They are often hidden behind swimming clubs or stuff like that, or just bars. It's really, really hard to...
Yeah, well, because I think that when you work in that kind of area, what you want to, for your customers, is that they can stay, anonymous. They're not gonna, it's not... Because I'm pretty sure people that go get prostitutes, they don't want to be, seen most of the time. Right? I don't know anyone who would be proud of, hey, I just fucked a prostitute yesterday. Right? I don't know anyone who would do that. So that's why most of the time they're hidden, so that the customers, can pretend they're going to the swimming pool, but in fact they're going to get a prostitute.
On the other hand, I don't know if that's a thing in your countries, but in Germany there are some huge brothels. And I'm talking about several thousand square meters.
Yeah, I mean,
for one.
For each industry, you're going to have extremes, even with that. So it's not a big surprise, really. I think most of the time they would stay hidden, but there's always going to be someone who's going to be like, nope, fuck it. I'm gonna, I fuck prostitutes, and I'm not ashamed of doing it. So yeah, for sure. But no, in France, like I said, gonna have organized prostitution. It's only on the streets, and it's a bit sad because when I see them, most of the time they are on not the best streets they can be.
Yeah,
right. It's usually not somewhere you want to spend the night. So yeah, well, I mean, it's not like Lyon is. We don't have a lot of violence. I'd say it's not the worst city to live in that regard, but still. So how is it for you in Australia over there?
I haven't come across any up here.
Really?
Yeah. Not that I go looking for them, of course.
Do you live in a big city?
It's near a big city. I live just north of a big city, yeah.
Yeah, and in this big city, there's you haven't seen any. Well, I mean, you've not been here for a long time.
No, I've only been here for 5 months now. I'll do some research and get back to you for the next episode. I'll go and seek some out and ask some questions. Yeah. Maybe we'll get her on for the podcast as well.
I went to a show one day. There was this band that I wanted to see, and they were playing in a place that is very close to where all the prostitutes are. The show was over, and I said goodbye to my friend, and I was going back to my car. And then there was this lady, or I'm not sure it was a lady, judging by the tone of the voice and how big she was in terms of height, saying, "Hey, do you want to spend a good night, sweetie?" And I just started laughing my ass off so hard. It was so ridiculous. I was like, come on, you're not in the movie or something. You don't have to speak like that. So yeah, that's basically my whole experience with prostitute.
I don't know. I never talked to one. So
one of my friends hired one for 24 hours, and looking at the map, it's somewhere that was probably illegal as well. So he wouldn't have one. Yeah. I didn't mention any names.
Yeah, okay.
He was so casual about it because it was seemingly a relatively normal thing. So
where was it? Just Australia or UK?
No, it was actually the Middle East.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. So probably, illegal. Yeah.
But no, he hired her for 24 hours. Had her over at his house, fed her, everything. Yeah. But it was such a casual. He just told it so casually.
There are people out there that think it's completely normal.
I don't think it's abnormal, right? Don't condemn it. I really don't care about it. Like, if you want to get a prostitute, go for it. I don't give a shit.
No, but if you start to include that in a conversation with other people, that's not really normal. If you use it, I'm fine with it.
It's not socially accepted, right? That's true. That is true. Most people would regard that as creepy.
We were at a party and we were thinking about what to do next. And he just went, I'm just going to call a hooker. Give me a second. Yeah, do you have time? Okay, 2 hours. Great, come over. And there was no discussion. He just ordered a hooker. And I was like, well, no, I'm in a relationship, and that's not how things should work.
Yeah.
Just do the decent thing. Just grab some popcorn, pull up a chair, and just spectate. Not getting involved, but
doing research.
Well, what it's all about. Yeah, it's for science.
For science. I'm gonna science the shit out of you.
Just doesn't sound right.
That
either.
doesn't. And so let's talk again about Sweden and prostitution. They are really, really strict about prostitution.
Which is not a big surprise.
No, but in the government's state of mind, prostitution always is enforced on women.
Yeah, it's always rape.
Yeah, it's always rape. No woman ever would consider becoming a prostitute without being forced. So
yeah.
What they do is they completely forbid it, and everybody that is involved will get sued. I said that already. But if you look at the numbers, in 2005, 460 people were taken to court. 360 of them were dismissed.
And the thing that pisses me off is that they still include that in the rape statistics in Sweden. And in Sweden now, they're saying there's this like rape epidemic, which is not the case.
Yeah, not at all.
There's no more rape in Sweden there is in any countries in Europe. It's just that they count anything as rape, which I think is stupid because it doesn't help the real rape victims. Like, focus on them. They need help, not the people that decide to have sex willingly. That's also very one-sided. Like, for example, it happens, right, that there's male prostitute as well, right? And let's say there's this lady, she's 50, she's alone, and she wants to have sex. She can hire a male prostitute, right? But this is not a problem. This is not rape, right? Because a man having sex always does it willingly, in their opinion, which is a huge double standards. And that's something that I really don't like about Sweden. Sweden is a bit weird in that regard.
Yeah, maybe we should talk a moment about male prostitutes, because there are male prostitutes. I'm not talking about gays. There are straight guys that...
Most male prostitutes are for homosexuals. Usually, it's very, typical. It's a bit cliche, but that's usually, middle-aged or later-aged woman that is a bit alone and she wants some company.
It's not a job someone would look forward to do because they have to screw everything.
Unless you're, let's say a client base, and you make decent money, then maybe then you can be a bit more picky about your customers. But otherwise, you have to screw everything, indeed.
Indeed, and it could even be the 63-year-old woman that wants to get laid for the last time.
Yeah, absolutely. And, well, maybe put it on the matter as the same as for female prostitute, as long as it's a choice,
Exactly.
Let them.
Stay healthy. Make it because you want to and accept it.
It's a much small percentage of prostitutes, so people usually don't talk about it. And like I said, a man having sex is usually regarded as being a man,
basically, yes,
and doing it willingly. There's no, like, for example, in France. I don't know about your country, but in France, it is impossible legally for a woman to rape a man. There's no such law. Wow. And most countries is the same, actually.
Isn't it physically impossible?
Well, no, I mean, if a woman forces you to have sex with her, because, an erection is not always sign of excitement, she can give you a pill that makes you have an erection,
that's right,
or stuff like that. A woman can force you to have sex. I mean, by pressure, by violence, by...
Oh, yes. Women can talk you in a lot of situations you don't want to be in.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no such law. It's sexual assault when women do it, but when men do it, it's rape. So, yeah, there's a big double standard. And I think, in prostitution, it's kind of the same. A male prostitute will not be regarded as the same way as a female prostitute. A female prostitute will typically be regarded as a victim, kind of, which I think is a bit sad because some of them, and I hope... like most part of them do it willingly, but when it's a male prostitute, we don't give a crap about them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, anything you want to add to that subject, or did we cover it pretty good? And if you have any submissions you want to make for an uncomfortable question or topic we should talk about, feel free to send them over. Yeah, and I still have to create a Twitter account to actually get stuff. Insert
link down below.
Read down below, exactly. And we should leave the restroom now. Like I said, wash our hands and move back to the table. And then we have some more topics to talk about. Okay, I guess it's time for another drink.
Yep, I'll get some more wine then.
Would you rather drink wine all night, or would you switch at some point?
Well, I usually drink wine when I have some good food, but if it's a good wine, I don't mind sticking with it.
Yeah, I always combine good wine with food. I would never ever drink wine
It depends on the wine. Red wine, usually you want food, but if it's white wine, you can have it on its own.
I don't like wine in general, but I kind of like it with specific food.
Cheese.
Cheese and port.
I don't consider cheese as food. It's just something you put on your toast. I eat it.
You're
yes.
talking to a French guy here. Be careful what you say. All right?
And you're talking to a German that doesn't like beer. Screw you. I don't care.
Oh, God. I could eat cheese all day long. That's probably why I'm fat.
No. The worst thing is what the Austrians do is melt it. And that's just disgusting.
Well, French people do it too. My favorite food is called raclette. It's melted cheese on potatoes with ham and different kind of stuff like that. It's so good.
I like cheese that has been in the oven or some form of prepared in a hot environment, I could say, but I would never eat it when it's not solid anymore.
Oh, trust me.
It has to cool down afterwards.
Here,
no.
If someday you come around here, I'll make you eat raclette, and you'll see it is fantastic. It's not the healthiest food you can get, that's for sure, but it's so good.
I'm going to take a word for it. Let's see when I
It's
have
the
to
kind
try.
of foods that you can eat it, like, for hours, but then you feel guilty about it.
Like German candy. Oh, there we got something.
Yeah. So what is the subject now?
No subject yet. We just got back, and Aki still has to order another
Beer. Grr.
Are there any great Australian beers you discovered so far?
Do you know what? I quite like Crown Lager, which a lot of people will probably shoot me down for because they're very particular over here. And if you drink Western Australia's beer in Northern Territory, then it doesn't go down very well. It's a bit odd, but quite partial to the Crown Lager over here, which is pretty
I've never
good.
heard of it.
But it's expensive. No, I tell you what, I'm having to experience or learn beers all over again. There are very few beers that are familiar.
What kind of beer is it? A blonde one?
A blonde one.
Yeah, there's different. Yeah, there's blonde. There's well, in French we say blonde, but I don't know about other countries. There's brown. There's for example, the one from UK, the Guinness. How do you call the Guinness?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so your dark ales, your pale ales.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you say it in English.
Yeah. Okay.
In French, we use like hair collars to talk about beers. I don't know why.
They're quite big on their pale ales out here, but majority is lager. That I've seen anyway. Yeah, but there's so many beers. The variety of beer there's a lot to go through. There's a lot of testing to do. I have to drink.
Are most of them good? Or
the ones I've tasted so far, there's not a beer that I've had a sup of and gone, ugh. Yeah, they're all reasonably drinkable so far. But I found Crown Lager and I kind of stopped there. I didn't progress onto anything else because I'm quite happy. The problem is it's expensive. Beers over here is expensive, but wine is cheaper. So the beer is at least twice as expensive as what it was in the UK. Like the Crown Lager, I bought a crate of Crown Lager and that was $60, 60 Australian dollars. So that's about £30. So it was that €35, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Very great.
I get a pack for like €5 here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you get a whole crate for £10 in England, but the wine is half the price. It's literally half the price. Whatever price wine was in England, it is half the price here.
Okay,
we get a lot of the same wines. Yeah, so wine's a lot cheaper. Beer's a lot more expensive. So I tend to drink a lot of wine now anyway.
I'd love to understand the story of why this is this way, because beer tends to be, in general, cheaper than wine.
Yeah, I think it's just because a lot of the wine's local, whereas the beer is mostly imported.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
Not all of it, but a lot of it is because, like in the Northern Territory where I live, they don't have vineyards or anything because it's just too hot. So everything tends to be a little bit more expensive again where I live, just because everything has to be brought up. Big wine drinker. Of course, living in the tropics, I've had to get a wine cooler for the red wine just to bring the red wine down to 18 degrees. Because drinking red wine at 30 degrees, 30 degrees heat is not fun. So I had to buy a wine cooler to chill the red wine down. White wine goes in the fridge as always. But I tend to drink a lot of white up here now.
Yeah, red wine, you don't want to be too cold.
Not too cold, but not too... So it's too cold.
Yeah.
You can't put it in the fridge because that just tastes weird, but it tastes even worse if you leave it out in the heat.
Absolutely.
So you have to... I have a wine cooler that's regulated. It regulates the temperatures at 18 degrees Celsius.
Which is perfect.
So, yeah. Spirits about the same price as what they were in the UK. So there's no gain or loss there. So it kind of balances out, but because of the price of the beer, I tend to stick to the wine now.
It makes you look classy. There you go.
Classy. I'm all about class.
Yeah.
I even hold my little pinky out when I drink beer.
Oh, so posh.
I mean, you know, like drinking a beer, you look like the typical bloke, right? But when you have a glass of wine, it's, you know.
Yeah, people judge you.
Oh my God. Okay.
And then you go, voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? And then you go.
There's something with you talking French that just, I don't know. It always sounds like you want to have sex with me right now. It's the French language in general. You could be swearing at me.
I don't know why people think that, because trust me, most of the time what we say is not sexy at all.
At all. I think it's the language is very smooth and elegant. That it just
well, it depends who talks it.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
It's like you could be talking about tax returns or something, and people would be like, "Oh,
yeah, exactly."
We're talking about tax returns, damn it!
Focus.
Like I could say something like "Tu as les pieds qui puent," and that would sound sexy. But I just said your feet smells. So yeah, trust me, most of the time what we say is not sexy at all.
Yeah, but you say that and then a woman's bra would just pop off randomly in the room. But did you hear what I just said?
Yeah. You never listen to me. You never listen to what I say. Oh yeah, I do. No, you don't. I just said your feet smell, and you open up.
Weirdly enough, people don't have the same image of people talking German.
Oh, you think?
I was in France.
Personally, I like German, but people tend to not think it's as sexy as French for some reason.
Yeah, they tend to think it's more angry, but I think that's because of Hitler, and they have related him to that.
No, it's. I don't think there's a typical, German accent. Not necessarily Hitler, because that's, it's been a long time. I guess people are kind of over it.
Yeah, maybe
on that regard. But it's just, the typical accent in movies tend to be a bit aggressive, and I think it's like in certain regions of Germany, because I've been to a lot of different cities in Germany, and I'd never heard that accent. Never.
In movies, a German guy is most likely the villain. And he has a very strong German accent. And
all the time, right?
You don't hear a German talking German in American movies or in any movies outside Germany, I guess.
Absolutely.
When I talk German, it's just the same when I talk English. It's rather smooth and calm and
I know there's one region where they have a strong accent. It makes it sound a bit aggressive, but I don't remember where exactly. But my German friend
it's probably East Germany. I will get some hate mails for that, I guess.
I've never been to East Germany. I've been to I've traveled all the way through Berlin and then came back, so in diagonal.
Yeah.
So I missed all the southeast of Germany, never went there, so I don't know about the accent there.
There's one funny story, actually. I went to Gamescom a lot of years ago. And it was in East Germany. And we went there with, I think, 4 or 5 friends. By car, in one car, and we had tents with us to sleep on a big grass field nearby, and we weren't really sure where the actual place of the Gamescom is, so we just drove to the city and asked some locals, and their local accent was so strong, just funny as hell. We weren't prepared for that, so we rolled down the window, stopped at the side of the road, asked a random person where the Gamescom is, and he started talking and explaining it to us in a very serious manner. And you
started laughing?
The whole car with 5 people started laughing their asses off.
Well, most of French people find the accent from people of Quebec very funny as well. So, yeah, that happens too.
I was in France a couple of years ago, and I had some old dude come up to me and start shouting at me. He was telling me off for something, but the French accent being the French accent, I just pressed my finger onto his lips and stroked his face. I fell in love right there. You can't be angry at a Frenchman shouting at you because it's like music.
Oh my god!
It was the same for me with British accents. Like when I was not so good in English, I just loved hearing the British accent. I couldn't understand anything because I wasn't used to it, but I just loved it. And I remember we played with a band from the UK, and I just sat there listening to them, just enjoying. It was like, oh, it sounds so good.
Just like listening to the rain. It's just
Why does everyone always likes the British accent?
I mean, now that I'm used to it, like I liked it because it sounded different from what I was used to. It does sound classy, let's be honest, right? I mean, the typical posh accent sounds pretty cool.
It depends on the accents, to be honest.
Like the accent that now makes me know, like, yeah, it sounds pretty interesting, or more like Irish or Scottish.
Yeah.
Because I'm not used to it, especially the Irish accent. I'm really not used to it.
I can't understand the Irish accent for the life of me.
It's really hard.
I tried it.
Last time I was watching a comedian, and apparently he was really funny. I couldn't make sense of what he was saying. Like, there was half of the words were like, what the hell? How do you came up with rolling R's in English? How does that make sense?
Was it Boyle?
I don't know. I don't remember the name of him. No idea.
We got a Scottish guy at work, and a lot of the Australians can't understand him, so I have to translate.
Yeah. Well, Australian accent was really hard for me at first as well to understand, but now, yeah, I'm kind of used to it as well. But yeah, there's a few English accents like, what the hell? Like, people from Manchester, apparently they have a really good accent too.
Yeah, I bet you come up with like Scouse or something.
But yeah, the more I talk, the more I get used to it. And now, yeah, like I used to really love British accent. Now it's just like, yeah, it's normal.
It is weird when you hear British accents in American films because of the contrast. Then you realise.
If you put them side by side,
like you put a Texan,
weird.
Typical Texan with a British guy, and then, yeah, that's good times. Yeah. It feels like two complete different languages.
Yeah, it really does. And we should move on now. We are kind of getting close to the end of the podcast, sadly enough. But there are one or two things we have to talk about. It's not a mystery that we are all streamers on Twitch. And it's like right now, it's a hassle to deal with a schedule when you have people involved from all around the world. Aki is in Australia right now. And Stan is in France. I'm in Germany. And beside us, there are a lot of other people from all around the world, and it's a pain to work out time zones. When are we going to meet? What is going to be in your country? And there's one thing we came up with, and I'm not talking about the podcast members here. I'm talking about the Rocket Jockeys Twitch team for the KSP streamers. And we thought, well, maybe we should a universal time zone. And everybody uses that. And, well, there is already one organization that already does it. And that's the ISS, the space station. It's basically the same. They have to deal with a lot of countries, a lot of time zones, but they don't. They just use UTC.
They go around the Earth 6 times a day, so...
Yeah, they have to agree on something.
Yes.
So the ISS agreed on UTC or GMT. It's basically the same. And we thought, well, we need something different. We are going to use universal Twitch time. And we're starting to use it, and it's pretty fun. Pretty funny to use it. We call it UTT, like I said, universal Twitch time. And it's a whole lot easier to organize stuff. And it would be probably pretty interesting to hear from Aki, because he already does a podcast with a couple of members. And how difficult is it to deal with different time zones for you?
For me, it's an absolute pain in the ass because I'm the one that has to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to match the time zones for everyone else. And in fact, it's 1 o'clock in the morning for me now. And I'll be recording the other podcast in approximately 5 hours' time. I've got to sleep between then. So yeah, if to do this sort of stuff, something has to give way with all of this. It can't be work. It can't be family time. So it has to be sleep.
Yeah.
So I have to give up sleep in order to do these things. No, working with time zones, it's a pain if you want to be with people, communicate with people from around the world. Of course it is. I mean, I don't mind getting up early in the morning because I want to do this stuff. So if you want to do something, it makes it easy to get up for. But yeah, so it's I get the shit hours basically.
Yeah,
I give myself the shit hours just because it's me that wants to do this stuff, and I want to do this stuff with people from all around the world.
Australia is like the worst place, right? Because
it
most
is because
people are
there's
either
no one here.
US or from Europe, right? So, and you're far from both.
Digital Psychosis is in the same boat with you, basically, right?
He is, but he's an hour and a half ahead, so it's not as early. But streaming in Australia evenings, it's so quiet. It's so quiet because the American and the UK audience is either still in bed or at work. So there's not many Australians living in Australia. There's only about 22 million people living in Australia, I think. Mm-hmm. And the country's bigger than Europe. So that's a very sparse population. And of course, when that translates into viewers, Australia is not the best place to be doing it. If you want to do this with other, it's
sorry.
We have a couple members in the podcast to throw the ball back and forth and don't have awkward silences, but as you can hear, we have the other problem too.
Yes, too much. I forgot what I was saying now. Australia is not a brilliant place to be streaming and podcasting in the evening if you want to grab the attention of the more densely populated areas such as Europe and America, who are usually your biggest your viewer base. So yeah, I've kind of shot myself in the foot moving out here.
Well, yeah, so I was going to talk about, we're talking about streaming on Twitch and how it's a bit of a pain in the ass to tell the viewers I'll be streaming at this time and they have to figure out what time it is for them. I got contacted on Twitch by this website called Gemma. For now, I just checked it out. I don't know exactly if I'm going to use it, but basically what they offer is to have a page where you can set up a schedule, and then you can give that link in the description on your stream, and people can go there, and there's going to automatically give them the time for them, right? So I think it's a pretty cool idea. For now, I'm not quite sold on how it's working, because, for example, I have a stable schedule. I always play the same games, but for how it's working right now is that every week you can make a new schedule. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass for me because I would need to do every week to redo the same schedule. So I would like a copy-paste thing. But I still think the idea is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think I've seen that service popping up a lot lately.
But no one was doing it, so I think it's a good idea. And for now, there's not many people on it. I think there's like 250 streamers, I think, from what I see here. So yeah, they're quite new, and I hope that, that's a useful service. So hopefully people will use it as well, if they're too lazy about using the UTT. Since I have a stable schedule, if I can put, a schedule for every week and it's going to copy-paste it, that I don't have to worry about, then I just have to set it up once and then that's it.
Yeah, right.
Right. On the other hand, if you want your community to know exactly what you're going to stream, you're going to have to put the schedule somewhere anyway, or, be on your own website or using a third-party service. So, yeah.
So we were already talking about YouTube stuff. Let's talk about some YouTube channels you really like and are really keen of. There's one thing in particular that I really enjoy and that fits this theme perfectly. It's the channel TED. It stands for Technology, Entertainment, Design. And it's based off an organization that developed around 1984, so it's very old. And what they do is they try to combine everything from a technology point of view, and entertainment point of view, and a designer's And they cram it all together, put it in very short and powerful speeches, and create videos from those speeches. And oh boy, can you learn stuff from this channel. I'm following this for a super long time, and it's covering such a wide variety of topics that you most likely always will learn something. But like I said, it's less than 20 minutes. It's entertaining and educating at the same time.
Yeah, that's my problem. Not really, because I love this channel too. But the thing is, you should always take what they say on these speech with a grain of salt. Because most of the time, they're trying to do powerful speeches, which tend to appeal to emotions. And sometimes it's not, very factual. But it's still very interesting.
Yeah,
True.
Sometimes it's about the experience of the talk.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I'm saying most of the time it's more an appeal to emotions rather than factual things. But sometimes, you're going to get some very sciencey stuff as well, which is interesting too.
Yeah, and they cover a lot of cutting-edge technology you weren't aware of.
Yes.
They just, not just released, but it's a rather new video about a 3D printer. Instead of creating layers that are layered on top of each other, they have a bowl of liquid material and a base just hovering on the waterline, basically, just inside the puddle. And as they pull it out, they point lasers at the material, and where the lasers meet, it hardens. So there are no layers. It's all structural sound. And they can just pull it out relatively fast.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. That method that's way faster than the other one. You can't make things as big as with the layer method, but it's for small pieces, it is amazing.
Yeah, in theory, you could pull out a 2-meter long thing with this technique, and it would be perfectly fine. It would be ready super fast. I've seen someone build a small castle with like a small robot 3D printing concrete, basically. So there's some things you cannot do with that method, but for relatively small objects, so let's say 2 meters is still relatively small. It's perfect. It's way faster. So faster means less expensive in general. Yeah, it's really interesting to follow that channel. So look it up, TED on YouTube. It's amazing. Any channels you really like?
I'm going to talk about 60 Symbols, which talks about science. So Brady, the creator of this channel, has a lot of different channels. He's got a channel about computers called Computer File, channels about mathematics called Number File.
I love both, by the way.
He's got one about chemistry called Periodic Videos, one about, a lot of things, even one called Objectivity, where he goes to Royal Society and pick some random objects and talk about the story. But the one I'm interested about is 60 Symbols. It's a channel focused on science in general. The cool thing about it is that it's made in this typical way for YouTube videos, but he's got contact with real scientists, right? With people working in the fields. And they talk about a lot of different stuff. For example, let's see, what's the last video? They talk about a potential new 9th planet in the solar system, because there's been some indications that maybe we have another planet. So, it's very interesting. It's always fun to see some of these scientists very excited to talk about what they love. Yeah, really recommend it. 60 Symbols.
We are going to make Pluto cry so hard talking about another planet.
Yeah, and apparently this planet would be a gas giant too, so it's not a small one.
And it's again not a planet, it's just gas. And Pluto is going to cry his heart out.
Yeah, its core is probably bigger than Pluto.
Pluto went from run to the solar system to king of the Kuiper Belt, and then this happened. Fuck's sake.
But for now, it's all a hypothesis, right?
Yeah.
But there's still real scientific papers about it. And that's what I like, right? It's not, these guys are working in the field, so everything they talk about is real researchers being done, right? There's no bullshit there.
Aki, what do you got?
Well, if we're keeping on the science theme then.
Oh, you don't have to.
No. You guys heard of the Vsauce channels?
Oh, yeah. Vsauce is amazing.
Yeah, Vsauce, yeah. So the Vsauce, I love the Vsauce channel. So there's Vsauce and the Vsauce 2 and 3. And it's sciencey stuff, it's tech stuff, it's technology progression and everything.
Yeah, sometimes it's just funny and entertaining, but
always learn something, especially from Vsauce.
It's always educational.
He makes it very interesting and very fun to watch. And sometimes you feel like he's going from one subject to another without making any sense. But in the end, it always makes sense, and it's always very interesting to learn about these things.
He's very engaging as well, isn't he?
Yes.
You have to watch him. He's very easy to watch. You're intrigued.
Yeah, but there's one thing I noticed from Vsauce, and that is they cramp a whole lot of information into those videos. And sometimes you just get lost in all the information that gets thrown at you.
He starts with something and ends up with something completely different. But still, he tries to, make it, make sense in the long run. So, yeah, but sometimes it's hard to follow. I agree. Yeah, but I think that the effect he's trying to get from his viewers is the mind-blown effect most of the time. Rather than, going into the details about what he's talking about. He's more trying to get the mind-blown effect from the viewers and to get them, to give them the curiosity to then go look the information for themselves.
Yeah, and that nearly is the end of the very first pilot episode of the SpaceBar podcast. From now on, it will be slightly different because we will have a guest around. We will try to put some hints into every episode. Who's going to be the next guest? But for now, we would see. So, any closing topic you really want to cramp in here, guys?
I'm good.
I think we'll keep some for the next one.
Some, we should.
Next episode, we're going to be sat here going, talked about all that last week.
Yeah, exactly. That's what.
Be space tumbleweeds floating past the window.
And I can see the waiter is coming kind of close. So
time to go back to Earth.
Back to Earth, back to our craft, and decouple and head back home. So I'm out. My name is Million Lights. Thanks for listening. I'm off. Bye-bye.
Well, I've been Aki. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. And I'll see you in the next one.
And I'm PlexiStan, and thank you for listening too. And by the way, guys, who's paying? Guys! Oh, for fuck's sake. You lead the way.
I'll lead the way. I'll take your hand.
How many outtakes can we get in the first episode?
Oh, it's going to be way too much.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the episode. Ah, crap. Here we go. Explosive diarrhea.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's just brought it down too low.
Oh, sorry.
Make sure that comes out in the edit.
Okay, wait. I'm going to put 3 claps here, just to make
claps.
really sure I'm going to cut it.
You know what I'm going to do for the rest of the podcast now? Just 3 claps. All these edits, I don't remember this.
What the?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to cut them.
All right, let's go back to the shake of hands, all right?
Welcome to minute 5 of the podcast.
So much edit.
Yes.
So
Yay.
we move on to the arcades to talk about games and have a look at cutting edge. Oh, let me do that again. We move on. Stop laughing. Oh, crap. We move on. Really?
What was that noise? Sounded like a cow that just got shot.
Oh, let me try that again. Are you going to chuckle again? Or can I?
Go ahead.
Oh, thanks.
Hey guys, watch this. What have you done?
The Restroom, where we get our hands on touchy subjects and move on after washing our hands in innocence. Yeah, that fits perfectly, doesn't it?
No.
Yes. No.
No, yes.
Good for the, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Can't wait for the comments.
But then it depends on what we talk about, right? I mean, of course, if we start talking about penises, then people are going to keep making the joke, but I think we should be fine.
Yeah, we're going to be fine.
I think we'll be fine.
Okay, let me do that again. But we are going to do it in a very mature way, and it will be a topic that oh crap. Really again?
Well, you do them in the restroom as well.
I'm starting to sweat right now.
Come on, you can do it.
Ah. I completely lost it right now. Give me a second.
There's that cow again.
That cow? What?
You sound like a cow getting tranquilized or something when you sigh like that.
I found a lot of stuff out that I wasn't aware of. For example, I closed my Word document. You should have that open when you try to do stuff.
So much fail in one section.
And it wasn't even you.
It wasn't even me.